Hey, how you doing? This is SEIJIHITO here to bring you the news. So, I stumbled across a video of a streamer by the name of Asmongold. Gold. Right, if you don't know who he is, he's a streamer, does a variety of things such as gaming, dibbles and dabbles directly in politics, general conversations, all of those things. On top of, owning or having a company that makes computers and all of that good stuff, right? Very, famous, capable streamer. And he had a video dealing with the situation, right? Carmelo Anthony, and wanting to give his 2 cents directly in on that. And I was like, oh, it's a little bit interesting. I'm like, I'm not sure why this one is magically the topic versus all the other instances across the United States, but I guess. So the image that you see directly in front of you are just a few of the many of instances of where teens have decided to inevitably harm one another because of jealousy, envy, rage, those teen hormones, right? And, I always found it interesting that I don't really see white people get up in arms about these instances as they happen, which is a little bit weird to me. Shout out to James Lavender and Pink. What is up? What is up? What is up? So, one of the stories that I want to list here has to do with the two. You'll see it directly on the screen. Let me see. On the lower right hand side, it's not directly in order, so bear with me, right? So, in the lower right hand corner, we got this one. Student admits to fatally taking the life of classmate inside of a high school bathroom. Right. And it says a high school student in Texas admitted to detectives that he took the life of his classmate inside of a school bathroom. The affidavit shows that Kason Taylor Allison, age 18, waived his rights against self incrimination and admitted to taking the life of Jose Luis Ramirez Jr., age 18. The incident happened Tuesday at Belton High School, about 70 miles northeast of Austin. Belton police arrived at the school and stated that they found Ramirez with large wounds on his chest. Right. So that's just one incident. We got another instance, and this one is dealing with a middle school student. I'm trying to make sure I have the right. I actually have to play the video real quick just so I make sure I got the correct picture. Okay, so the next one I'm just going to read directly from you is above the lower right hand, right? So it says middle school cheerleader, and I had to block out the words due to YouTube, right? So it says middle school cheerleader had her life taken by a 15-year-old boy. Middle school cheerleader in Tennessee had her life taken by a 15-year-old boy, according to the Knox County Sheriff's Tom Spangler. 13-year-old Savannah Copeland's body was found on a trail at around 4:45 p.m. on Tuesday. Spangler stated that 15-year-old uh, Malakea Harris, I probably mispronounced that, probably butchered it, but it is what it is, was arrested and charged with second-degree murder in connection with her deceasement. Investigators stated that someone in the early morning hours on Tuesday, Harris used a pocket knife to go after the young girl multiple times. Savannah's dad, Michael Copeland, stated that he knew something was wrong after not hearing from his daughter hours after she went missing from her home overnight, right? Then we got another one. Let me see if I can actually find it. It's a different story, different story. I might not actually have it, so I might actually have to read it directly off of the what's the name? I gotta read it off of the CapCut. So if we go to the upper left hand corner, again, like I said, it's not directly in order, just a snippet from that story. Said that classmate reveals jealous 16-year-old boy's disturbing act to girl before a real life adolescence incident. A 16-year-old boy is accused of taking the life of his ex-girlfriend and was known for his jealous rage and often displayed streaks of violence in school. His classmates stated Cameron Hubel is charged with taking the life of a burial Elliott in a horrific crime that has sparked unsettling comparisons to a Netflix series called Adolescence. Elliott's body was found with multiple wounds along a trail near Cypress Lakes Preserve just 2 weeks after her 16th birthday. Crazy work. Crazy work. Diabolical. But for whatever reason, when you have instances like this, where you don't specifically have a color attached to it, you don't see white people getting up in arms. You don't see white people online talking about, oh, I'm about to go sit up there and go donate to this and donate to that. Oh, this is so horrendous. We got to do something about it. Why is this all over the news? It's crazy work. I kid you not, I literally told y'all this about a week plus ago, that the greatest distraction is that if you just throw a little bit of color in there, white people lose their minds. But normally you have instances like this where teens within their communities will commit these types of crimes, commit these types of acts, but seemingly they don't care. One of the fathers of the teens that I read off from stated that he already forgave the killer as well. But I didn't happen to see threads online of white people talking about that. Oh, that's not a good father. The other, twin brother, he needs to, find a. Didn't see none of that. Like I'm seeing with the other story. Like I said before, it's quite amazing how white people tend to act when color is involved. Better yet, to give a better perspective, let me play this clip so we can understand.
Damn, what the hell is wrong with them? Say strong, young man, Allah is with you? What do you mean he's with you? What do you mean? No, he's not. He says, Carmelo, what the fuck were you thinking? Why would you stab somebody over a chair? Wait, bro, no, you're not getting the fucking 72 virgins. No, bro, absolutely not. Not now. That's off the table. Really, yeah. Jesus forgives your sins, though. Jesus forgives your sins if you want him to. And, yeah, this is not load more. Sending good vibes. It's well, let me see. I'll read some more of these. Sending love and blessings. I pray this young man is released on bond soon and, more importantly, found to be innocent. May God bless this family. We love you. You're not alone. When is Austin's father going to say his son's bullying was wrong? They want to paint Carmelo as a gangster and his son as an angel and ignore. He stabbed somebody in the chest with a knife. What are we doing here? By God? How much? Self-defense should not have a cost. He have a right to defend himself. Right. For sure, bro. For sure. Man. I just don't know what to say. Where do these people come from? What's the top dono? Y'all want to read the top donations on this? Let's go ahead and do it. And I'm going to look at a couple more, and then we're going to move on. I just can't believe, so if you want to raise a lot of money, you've got to stab somebody? That's crazy.
It's funny that he says that. So that brings me to, my next example here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people forgot. I'm pretty sure a lot of white folks didn't decide that they wanted to go through and read donos and all of this other type of stuff, right? So going by what he stated, I guess, if you're white and you want to make a lot of money, you just got to be on a subway station and choke out somebody black, right? And also be in what, the military? I guess if you fit those requirements, I guess it works, because obviously when I look at Daniel Penny's legal defense, he raised $3.3 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I might not, see the numbers correctly there, but it looks like he raised 3.3 million. But yet you're talking about Carmelo and what transpired, not talking about the whole thing. You're just like, oh, well, somebody asked you to move and you decided to sit up there and stab him. That's not specifically how that worked out. We all know that's specifically not how it worked out, but let white people tell it. Whenever anything happens, white people are always innocent. The reason why as white people tell it, the reason why the Native Americans went extinct was because the natives started going after the Europeans that came over here. Remember, the Europeans, they were innocent. They didn't do nothing wrong. They were just trying to hand everybody gold and diamonds. They were trying to share wealth and knowledge. Whenever white people tell the story, they make sure to state that they are always innocent. And like I said before, the craziest part is you got more white people that want to spend so much time and energy being mad versus the actual parent. The parent is the only one's emotions that actually matters, right? And whatever reason, white people like, we don't care about your emotions. You are irrelevant because you're not following along directly with us, and you're not for our whole thing of trying to portray this as a racial incident to show how anti-white black people in America are and how the whole world is against whites and da 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 da, and they're trying to just get us up out of here and rah 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 rah. Right? So because he didn't agree with the rest of the white public, they basically exiled that man. They don't care about his feelings. They don't care about what he has to sit up there and say. White people in the United States feel as though that they are representing the family better than the husband, better than the father, better than the parent. That's some crazy work. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and look at white people online when it details with this story. He admitted that he had to defend himself because both brothers were there. Because this is how I'm going to put it to you. Who is that? Darvin, right? Let me put it to you like this. How is it possible at one point that you could basically be so close that you could see the book bag, see him pulling something directly out, knowing things are going on, but then at the same time, you were like, you weren't close enough or there fast enough to stop whatever transpired it took. That don't make any sense. And I've been to track meets before, and you know, things aren't really designated like that. They may have like the whole thing with the other schools directly under there. But if it's raining, it don't matter what tent or what seat that you're taking, you're good. Like, ain't nobody about to sit up there and tell you, like, yo, you need to get up, you need to sit up there. It ain't nothing that serious. Nobody has seats where it specifically has your name and yada yada yada. Like I said, the things that people try to stick directly on, it lets me know that a lot of people are not athletic in high school, that they weren't actually doing any type of sports. It also lets me know that people want to overlook a lot of other things that were being stated as a familiarity in between both students. I think there's some pictures directly up there of people cosplaying and everything of that nature, but people tend to want to crop out images, white people, which oddly enough is crazy to me that in order to fit a narrative, you guys will hurry up and try to look up somebody's Facebook and crop out photos and then put them on a lot of your racist social media sites, and you'll just have it just as that. Crazy work. But then going back to one of the images that I had up here, right? If you look to the upper left hand corner, you will see the young white male that is directly up there. That is the person that took that young girl's life. And even with their own doing this to their own, you know what they did? Let me get this picture where he was young and he was looking so innocent, so we can reminisce, so that we can feel sorry and guilty for both parties. They're both victims directly in this. It's terrible that it's like I said, this is how y'all work. Even when your own commits the most horrendous acts, y'all still try to portray them as a victim somehow, some way. Y'all will start going through, oh, their childhood. They had a drunken father, they had an abusive mother. She was barely there. The teachers didn't care. His grandparents didn't care. Y'all will really try to paint these fools as the most innocent people, even when it deals with your own. But you got the nerve directly up here to try to portray and make it seem like everybody else is a victim. That's some diabolical work. Oh, you blacks, you always try to portray yourselves as victims. You're not victims. Then that would be like me saying that all of the stories that I read off directly to you, that none of these kids up here are victims, especially the victims. You know how crazy that would sound? Knowing the fact that I read off what specifically happened in those stories and how they lost their life because of another teen. But like I said, a lot of them don't want to do or go through any of these stories because it's not reflective. There's nobody black in here that they can blame. There's no way that they can raise the racial tension and get white people's blood pressures up and get them moving. There's no way that they can make money off of these stories. Oh, it's white people that did it to. Oh, we can't make money off of that. There's no such thing as white on white crime. We can't profit off of that. We can't make money. We can't run ads. We can't put this on our racist sites because who wants to see this? And this is why I normally see this in your local news, in your local newspapers, where you guys want to keep this real quiet, and you tend to only leave one comment down there where you're like, I pray to God for both families. That's the most common comment that I see from white people when it deals with the stories that I'm putting directly in front of you all the time, even on X. I pray for both of the families. Both of the families have very much lost out on young folks. I don't know what's happening to our children. Something is taking hold. We really got to get God back into the picture. Y'all really don't even want to get to the real root of the problem, or the root of the problem. You want to sit up there and pray to some magical sky daddy and hope that some biblical words or some prayers will come through and fix this situation. You don't even want to fix the situation when it's at your doorstep. You're losing your daughters to your sons directly out here. But the only thing that you even care to focus on is the optics, which is this here, right? Let me just put that right. You want to focus on this when it's somebody black in the mix, and then you got somebody white. Oh my God, look at this. Look at these Negroes. Look at what they sit up there and do. Look at these blacks. Look at how violent they are. Look at how criminal minded they are. They're the only group that do things like this. Huh? That's some crazy work. That's some crazy work. It is some crazy, crazy work. Crazy work. Oh, you're hurting my feelings. You said I'm unapologetically racist. The crazy part is, let me show you how racist I am, right? Let me just give you something real quick, right? Because let me show you how racist I am. Let me just find this real quick. Let me see if I actually have the smaller version of the little bit of information. Oh, I don't. Oh, that's some crazy work. Ah, I got you. Did you know that? Because y'all wanted to paint Carmelo as a racist, right? Y'all want to try to do some race relations, try to say that blacks really hate whites. Did you know that when Carmelo was younger, he saved a white girl from drowning? Did you know that? I bet you didn't. I bet the news wasn't going to sit up there and tell you that either. It's interesting how that tends to work. Let me see if I could find the clips that I have here. Let me see if I can actually find them. I had to actually take some little clips so I could try to read it off. I might actually have to go back. Let's see. Or did I put it to the side? Yeah, I put it to the side. It's going to be a little bit tough. They said, let's see if I can zoom that in just a little bit more. Already said, How can the near drowning of a 6-year-old boy in a swimming pool and who spent days on ventilator in ICU wind up being a wonderful experience? Listen, and and you shall hear. Rian Carter of Baton Rouge and her family were at Baton Rouge Motel one recent Saturday night when her 6-year-old son Gino vanished in a group of children in a swimming pool. Right? Fortunately for her, some courageous bystanders came to her rescue. A teenage boy who recovered the child from the bottom of the pool, and a pair of Southwest Mississippi baseball moms who had the skills in CPR. Right? Carter was staying at the, let me see, I'm trying to read it from the paper. Carter was staying at the Dury Inn and Suites in Baton Rouge on May 15th, while her oldest son went to the prom. She and the adults were at the swimming pool where young children were playing, or children played and swam around 9:30 p.m. Carter noticed the children racing in the pool. Quote, "When I saw them coming, I didn't see my baby boy," Carter said. "I asked my daughter, 'Where's my baby boy?' She said, 'Ma'am, he was right behind me.' I jumped up and ran around the pool. The water was cloudy and the pool divided into indoor and outdoor sections. Unable to find Gino, Carter asked Carmelo Anthony, 14, of Baton Rouge, to check in a blind spot. Quote, he came back up from out of the water with my son in his arms. Quote, as he was walking, I snatched Gino out of the pool and laid him flat on his back. Untrained in CPR, Carter tried chest compressions like she had seen on TV. Blood and water gushed out from her son's mouth and nose, but the boy wasn't breathing. Everyone panicked. A group of Southwest Mississippi families was staying in a motel when their son played with the ESAJs, coached by Robert Young of Park Lane Academy, in a travel ball tournament. Among them were Christy Turner of the Jays and Jamie Newman of Summit. Turner is a certified EMT, while Newman had been trained since childhood as a lifeguard under the late Macomb swimming instructor Flo Boyd of Macomb. Newman had planned to go out to eat that night, but was tired, so roll back up, stayed at the motel where her husband, Rick, went for food. Quote, all of a sudden, we just heard a lady hysterically screaming, she said. A locked door separated them from the pool, and they had to bang on the door for someone to let them in. Quote, everyone was panicked. Once she got in, her lifeguard training kicked in. Quote, I don't know what I did. I just ran in there. I feel like it was instinct. He wasn't breathing and he had a pulse. She performed rescue breaths while Turner motioned Gino's pulse. He immediately started to try to breathe. We turned him on his side and he started to cough. He vomited and there was blood and water. It was scary. I never seen anything like that before. We didn't know how bad his lungs were. That's not a good sign when there's blood. He was incoherent. They beat his back and talked to him until the ambulance arrived minutes later. Unfortunately, Our Lady of Lakes Children's Hospital was right behind. Fortunately, Our Lady of Lakes Children's Hospital was right behind the hotel. Quote, when he left, he was breathing, so we hope Turner is okay. Next part is a good thing. Gino's, whose lungs was collapsed, was admitted to intensive care unit and placed on a ventilator by the following Wednesday. He was off the ventilator and started physical therapy. He recovered quickly and is now back home. Turner called Anthony the real hero for rescuing Gino and said that he was amazed at Newman's, go back up, courage under fire. When the woman first heard screams, they mistakenly thought that they heard words shooting. That didn't deter Newman. Jamie is a little spitfire, Turner stated. She's not afraid of anything. She's an amazing person. Newman didn't want to take credit. It's not being a hero, she said. It's a God thing that he's okay. I've never had to rescue someone. It's your worst fear ever. I did what anybody would do. It was an instinct, and that was a child. It wouldn't matter who it was. Carter was stunned by the woman's swift response. I have never seen them A day in my life, she said. Wonderful, grateful, thankful. Carter stated, trying to describe her feelings about the rescue. The Lord Jesus was on our side. That was nothing but the Lord. Another baseball mom, Pam Chandler, helped console Gino's grandmother, Katina Stewart Brown, during the ordeal, which is when the baseball moms learned that Gino's grandparents, Katina and Horace Brown, were from Macomb, right? So, all in all, and let me recorrect myself, he saved a young boy. They had a what I assume to be, a young girl that was on like the side. It was actually, I guess, the other woman who performed CPR. But the main point is that, again, this is not anything, dealing with like racist people want to sit up there and put it. This young dude at 14 sat up there and saved somebody from drowning. Right. But again, like I said before, how the media always wants to tell people like, oh, we're fair. We want to, show both sides directly of the story. Then why don't you put up this? Because anytime that it's like any these serial killers directly out here, they want to be like, oh, Manson or what's the other dude with glasses? I forgot his name. Whatever his name is. Whenever it's any of those dudes, they want to go through the childhood like, oh, they were good at like paper mache. They used to, do some origami. They were great artists. They sat up there and saved a squirrel when they were 5. Right? They want to do all of these other types of things in order to try to make you have sympathy directly for them. Right, to try to show you that, hey, they're not as much of a monster as you think that they are. There's a little bit of humanity directly in them. But for whatever reason, when it deals with Carmelo, white people are like, no, this dude, he's a straight monster. This had to 100% do with race, yada, 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 all this other type of. Like I said, I find it very interesting when it deals with white people in the media, how it is that you guys want to paint your side when they do wrong, and then how you want to paint other people's side, even though Carmelo has stated that he did it in order to protect himself. Because if we go back, we can hear that his phone was broken. How would somebody's phone get broken? If the young man was just simply reaching in his book bag, how would his phone get broken? I've reached in my book bag before. So that would mean either A, he was holding the phone in his left hand and then reaching with his right hand, or B, as I've normally done being in high school, is that I have one hand directly on the lip of the book bag while the other hand is directly inside. Again, you would still have to explain how would his phone actually get broken? Because if he's sitting down, how would the phone get broken? Just a foot off the ground is not going to crack a phone. I've even had cheap phones like a Net 10. A simple drop off a chair is not going to break that or fracture the screen. So that would mean that something else took place in order to make that happen. But like I said before, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. People don't want to. Thank you, Rosalind Dahmer. Yeah, people want to, paint all of these other killers and whatnot with a beautiful brush. They want to put, God behind them, sunlight, like, oh, they were Catholic and Christian. They were this and that and da 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 da. That's some crazy work. That's 100% some crazy work. But you don't see the media talking about the fact that Carmelo had saved somebody's life when he was 14. And the craziest part, technically, about this story, let me see if I can go back and read this. Let me see. Stuart Brown, championship baseball ring, Stewart. Yeah, like the craziest part, um, about this story is the fact that they don't have the fact that Carmelo. I'm sorry, repeating myself. Sorry. The fact that Carmelo was the one that really saved him. Like, they're not really asking him questions and they're not really interviewing and doing things like that, because without him jumping into that pool at that moment to get that boy directly up out of there, guess what? It'd have been curtains. It'd have been curtains. It'd have been curtains. 100%. It wouldn't have mattered what CPR that white woman knew. It would not have resuscitated the young boy. It wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have at all. But it is what it is. It's cool. No problem. Black people can happen to save another black person. Guess what? It don't matter. Black person can just save just a life directly out there. It doesn't matter. Somebody just so happens to defend themselves versus another human being. Oh, now it matters. Oh, what? You defended yourself, and that other person was white. Oh, yeah, we're gonna blow this story up. We're gonna put this story everywhere. Like I said, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it is what it is. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. But like I said before, and going back to this right here, I don't want to nearly hear nobody white about here talking about that they mad about the fact that Carmelo is getting any type of funds for defense when y'all literally threw all of y'all houses in order to give this man $3 million. I ain't trying to hear nothing. I ain't trying to hear nothing. That was a video that everybody was able to see. That was a video that everybody was able to see. It's crazy work. You know how many times I done seen white bums or white folks out here that's homeless committing a variety of acts, lewd acts in public and all this other type of stuff, and magically you didn't have no Daniel Penny deciding to come from out of like 2 blocks out of nowhere like he Batman and just want to handle the situation. Don't be happening. Even when you call the police, they don't sit up there and show up. So, like I said, it's a little bit suspicious. It's a little bit suspicious on how you haven't had any white folks, because if he did such a good thing, I'm trying to figure out why haven't any other white folks tried to copy the exact same thing. Suspicious. Interesting. But let's continue to some other stuff. We got Brandon V World directly in the chat. What is up, brother? What is up? What is up? Let's go to the next one.
The hands-off April 5th protests yesterday were so peaceful and everything was great and there was like no violence, no escalation, and that it was also predominantly white people, predominantly white women. Here's the thing. Here's the really important point. It is not that the people who were in attendance yesterday, right, the
just got to play this again for memory purposes,
white women are inherently more peaceful and law-abiding, and they just know how to do it, right? That's not the reality, okay? It is because they were met with a different level of force, being none, like a lack thereof, as opposed to when movements are predominantly about and backed up by people of color, right? Queer people, especially black people, especially black women. They are met with a different level of force, not only by police, but by like random conservative militia groups that were showing up every single day at the BLM protests. Like, there is a stark difference, not in the way in which the protesters are protesting, but a stark difference in the way in which power and force and violence, especially state-sanctioned, is responding to the protests themselves. That has to be a very, very important distinction that we make, because this is not a failing of other movements. This is a failing of our police presence, of the militias, of the power and force and violent force therein. Ultimately, who gets to protest peacefully and who gets met with extreme and violent force is not due to the protesters themselves. It is far more a reflection of power and control rooted in racism.
So somebody said, "United we stand, united we fall." No, we're not. We're not falling united. You'll be falling by yourselves. Which I don't know who you talking about. A we. I don't know who you talking about. A we. Because last time I checked, black people had nothing to do with these tariffs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. let me know. Let me know. Let me who's the causation of the tariffs out here? Because you saying that united we stand, divided we fall. Who is doing these tariffs out here? Who's doing that? Let me put this image up. What'd that say? China responds to Trump's 104% tariff with an 84% tariff on all United States imported goods. Huh? Huh? What are we what are we talking about here? Who who is this we? Who is this we that you're talking about? I need to know. Educate me on that. Because like I said, I don't know what you talking about out there. Is no we in this. There is no we in this. Let me tell you something. Let me see. Don't I got another image up here dealing with these tariffs? Could have sworn I had something else up here. Let me see. Man, you so blessed right now. I know I had another clip, dealing with. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me. I almost want to go directly back and deal with some other people that had like a GoFundMe and whatnot, but it don't matter. It's all right. I'll let it be. I'll let it be. He said the tariffs are working. The stick market is back in green. Manufacturing will come back to the United States. So let's just get this straight. Let me go to Chat GPT real quick. Let me just what's just want to see something real quick. Probably spelled it wrong, but it's cool. Right? So you said that manufacturing, right, is going to be coming back. No problem. This is my problem, right? Let me just go by shout out to Chat GPT because I just wanted to look out, just wanted to know what's the obesity rate in the United States, right? As of last data from August of 2021 to August of 2023, approximately 40.3% of adults in the United States are classified as having obesity. This marks a slight decrease from the 41.9% reported in 2020. However, during the same period, the prevalence of severe obesity has increased from 7.7 to 9.7%. So I'm a little bit confused. Even if we get factory jobs directly here, who's going to be working those jobs? Who's going to be working those jobs? Because we are living in a very sick America at this moment in time where you got obesity and everything else running amok. So who is going to be healthy enough to actually work those jobs without falling over? Just let me know. Just let me know because you're like, oh, the manufacturing jobs are going to sit up there and come right back. I guess you think this is like the roaring 40s or something like that. We are not at those times. We are living in the times of robotics, AI, coding. These are the times that we're living in. Like I said, I'm not sure if people have been paying attention to the ports that they have in China and other places around the world, but them bad boys are automated. They got robots in certain Amazon facilities where you would normally have people in the lifts putting up product. You got robots doing that work. Even when it deals with some of the sort, you got robots doing this. And I told people years before, even during the pandemic, I'm like, yo, hey, if y'all ain't paying attention, a lot of these normal as they consider mediocre jobs, whereas dealing with people sorting, they're going to be having AI and robots doing that job. You're not going to be having those jobs no more. So you're gonna have to figure out something. You're gonna have to, really get some skills, do some things where it'll hold you up until robots come through and take that job as well too. Like I said, they got a McDonald's already where you're not looking at somebody hand you the food. It's a robot arm that's giving you your food. Last time I checked, when you happen to go into quite a few restaurants, you got kiosks of which you order food directly from. Right? You're not going up to people, hey, let me hand you this cash real quick. A lot of places about to be automated. Give it about a nice 10 years for everything to like really set in, just like the same way that it took for all the systems across the board to get used to the chips is going to be the exact same way when it deals with these restaurants. And soon enough, it's going to be automated. Like I said, y'all don't want to pay attention. Y'all do not want to pay attention to nothing. That is crazy. Like who do you think that. Well, let me see this. Somebody said, "Is this pre-recorded?" No. Another person said, "Grifting is getting goofy." Who's grifting? Like, what do we even like? I would, if people gonna pull up in the comment section, at least put an at to who it is that you're directing it to, instead of just speaking vaguely. Like, that's some crazy work. Somebody said, "I'm too high for this." It'd be like that. Troy said, "Why do we need a live host when all we need is Chat GPT?" Well, for the most part, in order for Chat GPT to even work or to have a voice, guess what? Somebody actually has to type in a prompt, you idiot. So, like I said before, I can have Chat GPT open. That doesn't mean that it's going to literally work. You have to type in a prompt. You have to ask it a specific question or a thing that you're inquiring about, and then it's going to give you the answers. See how that works? Since you decide that you want to be smart, genius. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. Somebody said the tech is an Indian scam. If tech is an Indian scam, then so are your, cell phones and other devices. The funniest thing that I actually learned about the Indians, even though there's a lot of things to say about the Indians over in India, they are very smart because they're actually collecting the older phones that we have, tearing those apart to get the little bits and pieces of gold directly out of them, and they end up gathering enough phones where they can formulate gold bars. Crazy work. I actually watched a video on it. I think I might actually have it, but I'm like, that's ingenious. I never even thought about that. I don't even think anybody here, any average basic American here, ever thought about collecting old phones and extracting the little pieces of gold directly out of it and get enough phones where you can have, that nice little, mini gold bar that you can do something with. Trade it in for something. Crazy work. Crazy work. We got it says same with manufacturing. Gail said, "White people be so dumb. All the automation will backfire. Mankind will end up right back at square one. People need a certain amount of healthy human interaction." I mean, well, it'd be like that. I guess people didn't learn enough about that during the pandemic, because I saw that white people were losing their minds. Woo, going out to a lot of these stores and these malls, y'all didn't know how to act. Y'all really lost your minds, and y'all kids were even worse off. It was already enough that a lot of y'all kids were directly on computers, handheld devices, because y'all don't really want to raise them, so y'all just be throwing electronics and all this other type of stuff at them. So yeah, when they started getting out in public, yeah, their social skills was lacking severely. Even as adults, a lot of y'all white folks, y'all were lacking social skills severely. Y'all didn't know how to act. Y'all didn't even know where to go because the government was telling y'all what to do. So back to the person who sat up there and said, united, we're together, and united we fall, whatever it was. Yeah. No, that's just you. That is just you. That's some crazy work. Crazy work. You said it's really dangerous to open up your phones. No, it's not. The most dangerous part, realistically, of the phone is the battery. The battery wasn't even attached to the phones when they were, doing what it is that they needed to do in order to get the gold and everything directly out of there. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, I can take the battery out of my phone right now, which, some people can't, and ain't nothing happening. Nothing's going to happen to my phone. It's not going to magically explode. Nothing, because there's no current. There's no nothing going through there. Like, what are we talking about? Let's continue. Matter of fact, going back, touching on the I'm glad I brought up the pandemic. Let's go to y'all boy Falsey real quick, right? See what he got to say.
Likely to happen, I don't know if it's going to be next year or 10 years or 15 or 20 years from now, is the emergence of another respiratory disease. It may be another coronavirus, because we know that coronaviruses really, mostly in bats, have the capability of binding to receptors that are in humans. It could be another flu. We're dealing with H5N1 now, which is bird flu, which has taken the somewhat disturbing step of infecting mammals, namely cows and cats and other mammals, which means it's adapting itself more to a human. So my concern, Walter, is that whenever that happens, the next outbreak will be of a respiratory disease that's easily transmissible, that has a significant degree of morbidity.
And we are making this a little bit more dangerous with the cuts and our attitude toward science?
Oh, absolutely.
So I want to remind people that about a year plus ago, I had brought up a video, and it was on BBC, and it had to deal with the disease X. And they specifically stated in that video from BBC, this is a source that everybody trusts. People love BBC and all this other type of stuff, right? Let me just repronounce it: the British Broadcasting Network, right? So when I put that up there, they were talking about disease X. They showed you a laboratory where they were like, yeah, scientists are already hard at work for a vaccine for disease X. I'm like, hold on. Run that back one more time. You're working on a vaccine for disease X, and they specifically stated that they don't know what disease X is or when it will happen or where it will come from, but they're already working on vaccines for it. How do you fight something that is unknown before it even comes into existence? Somebody white, let me know. Somebody white, let me know how y'all do this. How do you fight something in the future that you don't even know what it is? Like, huh? What? So you're just creating stuff just to create it. That's what I'm hearing. Or are you creating stuff because you know that you're going to be the cause of it? It's either one of the two. Like, that's crazy. And like I said, I cover a lot of stuff directly up here, and it's a shame that people don't pay attention. It's a shame people don't pay attention. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Somebody said Hunt virus comes from eating rats. Some groups of people eat rats as meat. D Money said pause. Yeah, I had to, make sure I use the wordage. Let me see. Tippy said, "Would I miss? Nothing much." Yo, also I want to say shout out to brother Allen for the $5 dono to the platform. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Much love, respect, and appreciation. You also said they think that they are God and they are playing the role. Make that make sense? Yeah, it don't make sense. What was it? Mr. Harvey said they have disease X. They created it in a lab already. SEIJIHITO, this is why they are looking for a cure. I mean, you don't have to look for a cure if you already created something. It's sort of like big pharma. What was the name of what was it called? The Slacker. I think we talked about them before. Y'all might know who I'm talking about. The main family that's the head of the opioid crisis. They created all of these opioids, and then nobody went to jail or prison. Right? All white family, right? Rich, wealthy, millionaires, billionaires, all this other type of stuff. Put the white community directly in a slump, ODing all over the place. Huge mass funerals. White people all in hospitals, strung out, right? Breaking apart families, right? But again, it's only the blacks. So they did that. And then they were like, man, you know what? It's bad that this situation happened. No problem. We got a cure for that. Huh? like white people, how do you allow rich white people to just play in your face like that? They literally got you strung out and hooked. And then they turn around and come out with a cure. They make you pay for the narcotics both legally and illegally. Make money hand over foot on that. On top of the hospitals that they invest in, right? On top of the facilities of which that are used to quote unquote get you from being strung out to back to a normal person. On top of the investments they got in these jails and these prisons and in the judicial system when it deals with the judges and the DA and all this other type of stuff. On top of like the morgues, and then on top of that, they come out with a cure, and y'all let that slide. White people, come on. Come on. But like I said, all you have to do in order to distract white people, sprinkle a little bit black in there. That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. That is all you got to do. Troy said, "Oh, this is a black versus white channel. Always about race. Give me a break." I never heard of a black and white channel. Like what is that? Y'all come up with new terms for this channel every single time. If it's not that I'm a Democrat or a Republican, is that I'm a racist. If it's not that I'm a racist, is that, oh, you're just divisive, you're this shit. Like, y'all just be coming up with any white people. I need y'all to stick to like one thing. Like, you know how y'all used to stick to like one racial slur when it dealt with like black people? When you describe me, I need you to stick to like one thing so that we're all on the same page. Because y'all just all over the place. Y'all don't know what to do with yourselves. Y'all pull up to the scene and y'all just start throwing anything to see if it sticks, to see if anybody that's white that's watching this, looking at the comments, will be like, oh yeah, I agree with what it is that you're saying. I can't throw a like, so let me leave a comment and basically requote what it is. I need y'all to stick on one thing. If you're going to brand me with something, I need you to stick with at least one thing so we all know what that branding is. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And like I said before, if somebody wanted to say like this is a black-white channel, I'm literally telling white people that you're allowing rich white people to play directly in your faces, being the causation of a problem, a debilitating situation, which is taking untold lives from now up until the end of time in your community, breaking apart the nuclear family, breaking apart your marriages, your home, your children, putting people in body bags and graves, and then coming out with a cure for the exact same thing that they caused. And you got the nerve to roll up here, be like, oh, this is a black and white channel. Why does this have to do with race? I literally just gave you a white situation, white on white. But like I said, y'all don't want to listen because there's nothing sprinkled in to gather your attention to make you focus. So you skip directly over it and be like, oh, you're a racist. Gotcha. Shout out to Troy. Shout out to Troy. Straggler said, respect also, bro, and we are all confused by the script that was written in our faces. Libs want to fight the system. Get with Trump. Liberty is real. Straggler said, the cold. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I got you. You said the code was rebranded as 19. It's almost basically the same word. You also said, lay the V to the side. That's how stupid they assume the people are. And you said, yeah, with some bad stuff, nobody's. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like I said, it'd be like that. But I'm going to reiterate before. There are no political officials. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. If you're white, Democrat or Republican, none of these political officials care about you, even if they bear your same skin complexion, even if they bear the same white family that you have, even if they bear the same history that you have. They do not care about you, because you have to make me understand, how are any of your political officials having multi-millions of dollars on a government salary? Explain that to me. Our tax dollars are going directly to them, but they're millionaires. I'm talking about 10s, 20s, 30s, 50s, hundreds of millions of dollars. How is that even possible? That would mean that they're getting money from other places, would it not? Because you can do all the investing in the world. That's not going to sit up there and net you like 50 million, and you only been working as a government employee for like 5 years. Like that's not, the math is not mathing on that. You would have to be an idiot savant. You would have to be on the limitless pill, and on top have a 12th intellect genius in order to make something like that happen. So, like I said before, whatever whatever people want to sit up there and believe, shout out to those folks who out there still on the whole thing of, thinking that I'm racist. It's cool. If that is the branding that you feel for me, as long as you're able to sleep at night, that's the only thing we care about at this channel. So now we're going to go to Terrence Howard and see what it is that he has to state from his end. Get a drinky drink.
Listen, before y'all talk about me, y'all need to talk to me. You see, once upon a time, if a man questioned another man's honor, he didn't do it from the shadows. He had to do it out in the open, with his name, his chest out, and his chin high. Not hiding behind a keyboard or tucked behind editing clips of fair use disclaimers. You see, citing Section 107 of the Copyright Act does not give you free rein to defame, misrepresent, or harm another's reputation. Fair use is not a shield for character assassination. So here's the simple truth. If you take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything. When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye, integrity and in truth. I've spent a lifetime earning the right to speak with the conviction about these truths that I speak. So if you want to tear that down, have the decency to come and say it directly to my face. And say it like a man. If you're going to talk about the geometry, have other geometries to argue against it. If you're going to talk about the supersymmetry, speak of other supersymmetries that would work against it. If you're going to talk about the white papers, provide your own white paper as an argument to argue against the equations or the conclusions. But we're going to do this respectfully, otherwise we'll end in a duel. And I mean a duel, real life duel, where only one person walks away. We can meet with guns, bottles, knives, or books and equations. But we're going to do this like men. So, get ready. Get ready.
Right. So this is pretty much touching on the aspect where Terrence Howard, for about at least a good maybe year or two plus, has been on social media talking about, some mathematical equations. Again, I'm not the smartest, brainiest person, directly in the class, but the stuff that he was speaking on was very much interesting. Like, it would be the type of stuff that if you saw it on, History Channel, the Discovery, TLC, it was like, yo, like this, I might not know, really what he's talking about, but yo, this is looking kind of interesting with these graphs and these charts and the examples that he's giving. Like, okay, I can see where, how this could actually match up and fit this and that. And you got a lot of people out there trying to say that Terrence Howard is an idiot. You got a lot of people out there trying to say that he doesn't know any of which that he's talking about. And this is what I want to make people understand, right? It's very easy for the public to side with others out there who want to try to discredit or say that Terrence Howard is not factual, right? But I want people to look at this. It wasn't that long ago where both the government and scientists all told normal, average, everyday people that aliens don't exist. It was not that long ago, and they kept that lie up for how many decades? How many decades? How many decades? Because, right, they got people in the mentality of when it deals with, religion, the Bible, they're like, oh, yeah. Going by the Bible and all those standards, right? God only said that, he made the earth and the heavens, and that's it. We are the only things in this universe that are actually existing, living beings. All the rest of the universe is pretty much, it's just dead. It's nothing else directly out there, right? Because I ain't never heard no preacher sit up there and say that aliens and other life is directly. They can't sit up there and say it. Because if you acknowledge other life directly out there, then you would have to try to understand what it is that they would believe. And chances are what you believe on your planet is not going to be something that they believe. How you believe in a God and heaven and hell and all, it's not going to be anywhere in the same realm at all. They're going to be like, yo, what are you talking about? We don't have any type of idea or realm of any of what it is that right. It's going to be that whole thing. So they stay directly away from that. So the planet is the only thing that is living, surviving, thriving, has life. It is God's golden egg out of the whole universe. Notice how large the universe is. Out of the whole universe, we are the best thing out here. And when you think about it and you think about how far we've come and what it is that we've done, as a whole, humanity wise, humanity has failed God. If we're going to be real and we're going to be honest, humanity has not done anything to live up to the whole thing of why it is that we were created. Just being real. I'm just going to be real. Look at all the bombs. Look at all of the enslavement that happens. Look at all the murders that takes place. Look at how it is that people can't sit up there and get along. But anyways, let's get a little bit too far into something else. Again, we've had two groups. The government and scientists basically tell us that aliens don't exist. And now, as of recent, 2023, 2024-ish, 2025, scientists be like, yeah, aliens exist. The government's like, yeah, aliens exist. Matter of fact, we're going to sit up there and show you this airplane footage. Matter of fact, we're going to show you some unclassified documents. So when I hear people try to discredit Terrence Howard and try to make it seem like he's crazy, I'm like, nah, he's only crazy because he's talking about something that y'all want to stay hidden. And that's the thing that I've learned about this system from the jump. The moment in time that you have somebody that comes out with something and they could potentially prove this something, of like, no, this person is crazy. They try to like override it and all this other type of stuff. But let it be a moment in time that person is no longer here. And then 20, 30, 40, 50 years goes by. And then randomly you'll have this oddball scientist somewhere amongst the science community looking over Terrence Howard's paper. And they'll be like, yo, everything that he was saying was 100% correct. And da-da-da-da. And I can sit up there and give you proof. And I can sit up there and show it. And all this other, the same things that Terrence Howard is doing. But because it's somebody that's different. So because it's somebody that's quote unquote of the science community, oh, now everybody's going to be, all amped to believe it. Now everybody's going to treat it like the greatest thing since, sliced bread and the atomic bomb. It's crazy work. It's some crazy work. Let me tell you, some crazy work. Tippy said, you mean those billionaires who could help a lot of people but choose not to because they don't care? Yeah. Peter said, we all overjoyed with the war machine and feed it with our babies. You must be talking about Moloch. I guess that's what you're talking about. I don't pray to that God. That's on you. You said his whole life would be shut down if his words came true. He would be one of us. The funniest thing that you say that, Straggler, Terrence Howard, if you go and look at his X account, he only has 14K people that are following him. 14K people. Somebody has to explain to me, how is it possible that a Hollywood celebrity, and it's not like this is like a Hollywood celebrity from like the 1940s or something like some old style celebrity. He's still recent. He is still like technically here. It wasn't that long ago that he had a television show. Somebody has to explain to me how somebody like Terrence Howard only has 14K people that follow him. Like nobody sees that as a problem or an issue. Nobody's looking at that as a little bit weird, but yet you can have some of the most ignorant and unintelligent celebrities directly out here have millions of followers, tens of millions of followers, and they're just hanging on to their every word. You're looking at these supposed candidates up there, and they're you're looking at these supposed entertainers, and they're talking to people that's supposed to be in the Oval Office. They're talking to people that's in government. So I'm like, what's going on? We're looking at somebody who can't give any type of proof of work when it deals with politics, but yet they're talking to people that are running for office, and we're supposed to pay attention to that. Case in point, let's go back to the whole thing with Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, all these other entertainers directly out there. You saw how that went, right? You saw how that went. They made sure to use those entertainers in order to draw in the masses, aka the sheep, to basically vote for this one person. It's like, hey, your favorite celebrities of the day, they actually like this person. So since you like this celebrity by proxy, guess what? You're going to like this candidate. So get out there and vote. That's literally what they did. That's literally what they did. And you saw what happened. But yet people like that got tens of millions or 50 million people directly following them, hanging on to every word. But you got somebody like Terrence Howard that got 14K people directly on X, and he's trying to explain to people and tell people something about science. Interesting. It's very interesting. So let's go to the next video.
Sitting here talking about the whole Austin situation, the young man that passed away, and we're listening to a live stream on this guy's channel on his page, and so he's bringing people on and they're giving their opinion. So some people are saying, it wasn't a fair fight, this wasn't a fight, he ended somebody's life, somebody is gone. And so one of the
She's gonna pull her son into
there,
this,
and she was very just dismissive. She just summed up his life like it wasn't anything, like, oh well, well, he put his hands on somebody, and so he's facing the consequences of his actions, and now he's gone. So thoughts and prayers, whatever. So just being really dismissive about this young man's death. They were defending Carmelo. They were defending him, saying, well, just because he has pictures where he's throwing up the middle finger and showing himself with weapons, that doesn't make him a bad kid. And I said, well, what about the tweets of Austin where he was giving God praise? Like, I haven't seen any pictures of Austin where he's throwing up the middle finger or sitting over there with weapons. If they have them, okay, fine. But how are you not going to use that to say that is part of their character if that's what they're trying to put out? And my son had a really good point.
Yeah, I was just going to say, also, if he's posting pictures of him with guns and stuff and you saying that doesn't make him a bad person, is he finna be doing good stuff with the guns? Is he?
Now let me just pause it right there. She got that's a very light bright of a son. He's looking real biracial. And I don't know what the mother is either, but we'll probably figure that out in the next video. I find it funny that she decided to have her son, I'm guessing he's a teenager. She did that because he's within that age range, right? But there are photos directly online of the white student with guns with his brother. They got hunting rifles and everything, stuff even on his IG. So I'm a little bit confused, or that might have been on his IG. So I'm a little bit confused on his thought process when he's like, oh, well, if, Carmelo was posting with guns, do you really think that he's going to do anything good with them? So if a white boy posts with guns, so what, you really think that he's always going hunting? Is that specifically what we're doing? So I'm a little bit confused on how the thought process specifically works. So if a young white teen and his brother has guns and they're in camouflage and all of this, obviously they're just good old boys. They're just, doing what normal white boys do. But if you see a black kid the same age with guns, magically what? He's a criminal, he's a robber, this is that. And it's funny how that narrative basically comes up, even though we have black kids out here that go to gun training. We have black kids out here that actually go hunting and different things like that. Those things do actually exist. They're just not really shown because the moment of times that they are, magically is demonized. People want to be like, oh, why are you giving those black kids guns, this, that, and the third, and all this other type of stuff. But yet I can see white kids online right now with their conservative parents, Republican parents, and they're around a Christmas tree, everybody holding guns. Some as little as 5, 6, and 9 holding guns, and nobody says anything. It's just like, oh, this is what America is about, huh? That's what we're doing. That's how we really want to, try to frame this. But let's keep going.
He finna be saving lives like Batman or something?
With the people,
like,
with the weapons.
Oh, with the weapons, like. With the weapons, is he finna be using them for good? Like, what are we talking about? He's not finna use them for good. That's why he's posting and them trying to look hard.
Okay.
Like,
and what do you feel about people that post pictures
like that's crazy. Like even the kid, like I'm not sure where that kid grew up. I'm not even sure what type of friends he even specifically has. But it's just like I said, I don't know. It just seems like this kid would have like a whole bunch of white friends. I'm just gonna be real. He would probably have a whole bunch of friends that's not black. I'm just gonna be real. I'm sitting up there looking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it at all. And then especially directly with the mother and how she wants to, give some type of defense directly for the two brothers. Right. But to further just to layer this, just to layer this just a bit, let's go to the next video dealing with this exact same, my bad, hit the mic. Let's go to the video dealing with this exact same woman and listen to what she has to state dealing with black people.
Are we really surprised at this response? We're not surprised at all, are we?
We're not surprised by that wig either.
Jamaican people are black, duh. That's interesting because I knew someone a long time ago. This was a manager of mine, and this manager just so happened to be white-skinned. And you know where she was from? You know where she was born? She was born in South Africa. And on her birth certificate, it says South Africa. And she was always curious why black people would say, oh, we're African American. She's like, you're not even from there. She's like, I'm from Africa. I go back to Africa every 2 years. Like, I'm from there. Why do you say you're African? And I understand. I know where my people come from, but that's not the point here. See, here you go making it about race. It's not about race, but since that's what you want to bring up, we're going to go ahead and deal with that. That's very small-minded to say Jamaican people are black. Duh. All Jamaican people, everybody that's born in Jamaica has got to be black. That's the ignorance we're dealing with here. And let's say this is true. Let's say everybody that's born in Jamaica is black. Everybody that's born in Africa is like, everybody that's born in these different regions have this particular skin tone. And I'm not ignorant to the fact that people come from different regions. That's obvious. The whole point is it's not worth hiring someone based on their skin tone if they can't do the job. That's silly and it's ignorant. And I had to repost that so people can see this is what we're up against. It's never about policy. It's never about what's going to be best for the country as a whole. It's always about this, race. And that's why I made the other video.
So if anybody wants to give a guess on where she's from, I'm guessing either Africa or the Caribbeans, some of their islands. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. Because then I started hearing some ultra, conservative type of points, and I'm like, and then I'm looking at your son. I'm like, Let me tell you something. For the most part, and like I said, I'm not no type of like technician, but I've looked at enough photos online and on X of women with hair, and I can clearly see the line. I can clearly see the line directly on her forehead that she did not do or somebody did not do a good enough job at trying to make sure that it blended directly in. Did not make sure to do a good enough job to blend that directly in. And I actually feel like the hairline might actually go back a little bit further just looking. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. CNG, yo, what is up? You said, unfortunately, other groups do hire based on skin regardless if they can do the job. Chinese will hire a dropout Chinese over a black man with a degree. Yeah, and that's the crazy part. I'm like, it's crazy how in America, like, she's one to be like, this is the problem. Like, everything's about race. A lot of people hire people based on race. I've seen white people hire other white people over because of race. I've seen Asians. I've seen Arabs. I've seen Africans. I've seen Latins. Like, I've worked with Dominicans, and I've literally seen them hire other Dominicans, no matter how and I'm talking about the incompetency is on a 9. I'm talking about they don't know how to order to save their life. I'm talking about they're overspending by thousands of dollars being a buyer. in the grocery section, but yet they still get chance after chance after chance after chance. So to sit up here and try to state that it's, black people, it's problematic when you just want to hire somebody because of race, and it should be because they're capable of the job. What? Have you never seen nepotism? Maybe I'm using the word correct. Well, let me just do this. Like I said, I'm not against being wrong. Let's see that. Nepotism, the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends, or associates, especially by giving them a job. Yes. I think there was another word that goes, directly with that as well. I can't specifically give it to you. Somebody in the comment section might know what I'm talking about. But like I said before, I've seen this. I've literally seen this with all other groups. But if black people happen to sit up there and do it or want to do it, it's like, no. Why are you only focused on race? What? Huh? What are we even talking about here? What are we even doing? Because like I said, somebody like her would never say that to anybody Latin. She would never go to nobody Latin, Arab, Asian. She wouldn't direct this towards any other group. It's some crazy work how this happens. That is crazy. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I don't know what black supremacy is. Explain that to me. What's black supremacy? Educate, because obviously you know more about it than I do, and I'm black. Let me know what black supremacy is. I'll wait. I will wait because I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. That's some crazy work. CNG said, you said the Black Panther speech. What? You said Malcolm X. You do know, and it does register. Obviously, you must be white. It should register directly to you that the people that you're listing were advocating for black people. Malcolm X, if you would actually do your history, and especially during that time, you would know why he would be advocating for the black community. The Black Panthers, during the time that was given, you would understand and know why they were advocating for the black. And the funny thing is, when y'all always want to list the black community, the Black Panthers, y'all never list the fact that the Black Panthers, right, practiced their rights to carry. They also protected their communities, were working or have pushed out drugs out of areas. They would also make sure to have what is it called? It's not the latchkey, but they would have areas before school or whatnot where they would have where mothers or families could happen to take their kids, they can get fed and all this other type of stuff. Again, community stuff. They would have community stuff in the black community, black people taking care of black people. The same things that y'all always sit up there and state. And what ended up happening by way of the government? Y'all took it out. So black people did what it is that y'all always state, and y'all destroyed it. Just to turn around and complain and be like, yo, black people, why y'all not doing for yourselves? Why y'all not fixing y'all communities? Because the moment in time that we actually get groups of people together to do it, somehow, some way, y'all come right along to destroy it. Right along to destroy it. You said black supremacy is hate for the nation. Huh? When have black Americans in total had hate for the nation? Let me know that. What historical, stories are we talking about here? What historical accuracies are we talking about here? Because I can list you somebody like Timothy McVeigh, the Unabomber. He obviously has a hate for this country. I can list you George W. Bush Jr. He obviously has a hate for this country. Right? You said all the black speeches I've heard are hate. Huh? Is it actually hate, or just you're just emotionally too sensitive? Let me know. You was raised with blacks and know they teach their children about the white devil. I learned about white people. You said the white devil, so I know that you're older than me. You're talking about some terminology from like 70s. That's like some like what, late 60s, 70s, early 80s type. So yeah, you older than me. You've been here for a long time, my friend. And for you to sit up there and try to state that all the speeches that you've heard are basically hate from black people, that's some diabolical work. That's some diabolical work. So I guess you missed the part where, the Black Panthers were trying to educate everybody on the system and how it is that it was, doing negative things to everybody. I guess you forgot about that. You said what's still happening? Like, this is, y'all be so crazy out here. This is the thing. This is the thing I don't understand. I ain't never seen another host of people, as y'all would like to say, that wanted to be victims so bad. Because on one end, you sitting up there saying that it's a whole nother group directly out there holding you back, doing stuff to you. And then on the other end, you want to sit up there and say that black people also hate and don't like you either. That would basically entail make you a victim. But white people have always said that they're not victims, only the blacks. So which one is it? Which one, straggler? Which one is it? Are y'all victims or y'all champions? Are y'all the king of kings? Are y'all the ones that really made the universe move? Which one is it? Because you can't say that you're a god and a victim at the same time. You got to pick one. That's how I know that you trolling right now. He was like, I tried to make friends with the black, but I couldn't take in the hate. Okay. Oh man, this is why I love social media. This is classic work. But let's continue.
Bro, I'm indigenous to American Indian, not African, whole different tribe. No, y'all Negroes are indigenous to TikTok. We haven't heard any of this shit since before the 2020 pandemic. You guys are pretending pandemic Indians, to be exact, my brother. There is no proof or no evidence of a whole gang of black people over here before the Native American. So I hate to break your indigenous heart, but you lost your goddamn African mind.
You know, and this is the main thing that I try to tell a lot of black people, right? And one moment in time when black people were just chilling and we wanted to embrace, Africa with this whole thing that we had at a moment in time, like, yeah, we're from Mother Africa, we're this, we're that, and we were trying to just uplift, bring awareness, and raise up the vibrations, right? Trying to give praise. We did that for a very long time and all this other type of stuff, and everybody loved it at a moment, right? And then somehow, some way, we got to a point where you started seeing Africans be like, y'all ain't African. I'm like, huh? It's like, we've been told all this time that we're African. We're this, we're that. We love you guys. We understand, the motherland and things that y'all have went through. We've gone through as well in the United States. Like, we are kin, we are brothers, we are sisters. This is that and the third. And Africans were like, no, we're not. And then you had other people directly from the islands sitting up there separating themselves from black Americans as well. I've seen a variety of groups, melanated, separate themselves from black Americans and let them know that black Americans are themselves, and every other group has their culture, their language, their religion, all of these things, including their history. And they're like, so if we have all of this black Americans, what do you guys actually have? Matter of fact, the only things that you guys have is just being slaves. I've heard this from people from the islands, and I've heard this from people in Africa. So now we're at a point where, since we've been told, all right, fine, y'all say we're not African, we're not this, no problem. We're Black American. These are the things that we've created. These are the things that we've made. These are the things that we love. And we're just going to hold on to that because y'all say that we're not of you. No problem. We're going to let you sit up there and have it. So now we're standing 10 toes on separating from everybody else and just being on our own, just embracing what it is that we've created, our own history and everything like that. And here comes everybody else, be like, no, 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 you're not even American, you're African. I don't know why you're trying to make it seem like you're indigenous to this land. You're African. Which one is it? Because like I said, I'm looking at people play games directly out here. I'm looking at people play games directly out here when it deals with Black Americans and how it is that they decide that they, keyword, they decide to call themselves. Because it's crazy to me, like this dude here, you got a problem with Black people trying to say that they're indigenous or that they're native. What, like, if that's what they want to sit up there and say, that's what they want to say. What is your problem? How is it impacting you? How is it actually affecting your, it's not. But you want to do this and that to try to say that for those out there that believe that they're native or have Indian this or that, like you're not any of those things, you're just African. That's some crazy work. Like that's 100% some crazy work. As if you got the information on specifically their bloodline that they don't know nothing about. But yet you can get up here and decide to tell a whole group what it is that they is, what it is that they, that sounds similar to what white people have been doing. And those have been the main people rebranding literally Black people in the United States. Black people are the most, if not the most, the second most, but I'm going to say the most rebranded people that I've ever heard of in my life. If you go down the list of names that we've literally been called, it's insane. So it's like, which one specifically is out of all of the lists? Which one really is it then? Because magically, none of these fools want to sit up there and be like, oh, yeah, well, it's, let's go back to some of these other names that the white folks was giving y'all. This is who you really, no. I'd be like, no, y'all just African. Huh? But Africans are telling us that we're not really African. Right? Because if we're actually from home, right? If we are African, why would I need to, get whatever paperwork and whatnot, whatever to basically prove that I'm this and that? It should just be the fact that, I'm a child that you gave up and you placed that child somewhere else while you went back home, but this is your child. You would allow that child to come back home. I don't have to ask you for nothing. I could just come directly there, but that's not how that's working. Even though people want to make it seem like, oh, you Blacks are nothing but Africans. That's some crazy work. Let me see. We got somebody said literally rebranding him, buying associating titles like Negro to Black. TB said, but other races want us to get over it. It's not a big deal. Yep. Let me see what else we got. I'm trying to go back up there. CNG said non-blacks, blacks need. Wait, did you write something above? Let me see if it was a connection. Wait, Brother Allen said white people teach their children racism before they're old enough to learn how to ride a bike. That's facts. Yo, Miss Yvette, what is up? What is up? What is up? Much love, respect, and appreciation. You said that's crazy. I've had friends of all colors and never disliked them for the color that they are. I do like them all because they were. I'm not even sure what that even means. Troll comment. Let me go back. Right, rebranding, and then Rock said there'd be no need for a continuous reclassification if we were African. Yeah, that's facts. Like, why would you need to reclassify? Like, when Africans come over here, there is no rebranding of Africans. Like, you know that they're African. Everybody knows they're African. When it deals with Black Americans, we are the most rebranded people directly out here when it deals with the United States. Nobody else comes close. And nobody can answer why it is that Black people, I'm talking about for the white folks out there, and many others that always try to tell Black people what they are and what they are, they still can't explain why Black people have been so rebranded the way that they have been. They can't. Not at all. But now we're gonna take it a step further because another brother here went deep. I think it's about like a 2-minute video, so we're gonna take a listen to it.
Is for all Black Americans that think Black people are indigenous to the North American continent and Africa had nothing to do with it. I got a question for you. Where is your culture? What a lot of you don't understand when you deny slavery ever happened is that we usually can tell the migration of a people group by tracking down their culture, their linguistics, architecture and art. So, while looking at the culture of African Americans, how they talk, how they worship, how they dance, how they sing, how they make food, let's look at all of that and ask ourselves, where is the indigenous culture that was passed down from the indigenous Black people that was here before everybody else?
Now, I love the fact that he states this, but also while stating this, does not want to acknowledge the fact that the people who, in a sense, have control, have rule, are the ones that also write history. They are also the ones that are able to reclassify and rebrand people. These are also the same people who bulldozed and dug up our grave sites of a lot of our elders, of a lot of our people. They're the exact same ones who destroyed our towns and our cities, turns them into ponds, right? Turned them into large areas of water. They decided to turn them into strip malls. They turn them into giant parks and so on and so on and so on. So it's a little bit confusing on how he's trying to ask a group of people whose history has either been blown up, firebombed, sent to ashes, scattered into space, right? Buried underwater. It's a little bit crazy to try to ask those group of people like, yo, what is your history? Like, let us know what everything really is so that we can get this, really settled. You literally got a whole system out here that won't divulge a lot of truths or information. And you expect those same people that were inside of that captivity, inside of that system, to then be able to very much strongly hold on to any types of language, culture, religion, or any of those things that they naturally inherently had after being brainwashed, after being conditioned, after going through psychological warfare. Okay. I guess, like I said, it's easier for those who are from the islands and those who are in Africa to say that, oh, we're proud because we have our native tongue, we got the foods that we eat, we got our religion, we got our stories. Yeah, because there's enough of y'all there. And what happened in the United States is not the same thing that happened over there in Africa. And even if it did take place, there were still enough of y'all there that were naturally able to hold on to a lot of the old relics in the ancient tongues or the writings or whatnot or whatever, and pass that through the different bloodlines directly out there. Black Americans, it's tough. But like I said, everybody wants to tell us what it is that we are. Let's continue.
And what I mean by that is, what do we find in Black culture that is distinctly from them and not from the native Indians that you claim are not the true Americans, but also not found in Europe or Africa? What part of our culture, because you're saying that we were here for thousands of years before anyone else came. So what part of our culture, distinctly part of our culture, something that you would bring up and I'm like, wow, we all do that. What part of our culture is uniquely ours, but comes from the American continent? I wait your answer. And while you do that, I'm just going to list some things that are part of African culture that we.
I'm just gonna sit up there. I just go directly to one. We got soul food. Soul food is us. That is dealt in American history and traditions when it deals with descendants of slaves, when it deals with Black Americans. I also had to do a live stream about a month or two ago where you had an African woman, real ignorant, but she was real proud, coming from the chest. She was like, "Oh, soul food isn't a Black American thing. We have soul food over in Africa, and da da da. We just call it, it's our our Nigerian dishes, our Kenyan. That's not the same thing. It's not. It is not the same. Like, that's not carrying the history and the weight of the things that we have gone through, right? Because when you look at a lot of these dishes, you can reflect on different times and different things. You can hear like I said, during the times, especially if you got folks that are old enough, at certain times of Thanksgiving, people will be sitting down talking stories from the past, stories that they were themselves a part of. Like, let's say if you got relatives, like 70s, 80s, 90s, right, and they still got their faculties, their head, still screwed on, and the light is still there. They can sit up there and tell you some stories that you'll never hear in history books. And then from there, they will tell you stories of their parents. So it's a little bit crazy to me how a lot of people would get on social media and grandstand and try to just act like Black Americans don't have nothing here. Everything that we got is just all African. What? Excuse me? How do we get here? Because if that was the case, like, even just the fashion, the way that we dress, our fashion, the way that we move, everything, that is from us. That is based here. That is from the things that we, as people would like to say in the 80s, from the ghettos of the Black areas, right? The way that we dance, how creative, that we are. Diamonds literally in the rough, right? That's literally what we are. And how it is that we created a lot of, what a lot of people would like to say, nothing into something. And we've done that continuously when it deals with the United States. Anything dealing with food, such as fried foods like fried chicken, case in point, like I said, Black people taught the Koreans how to fry chicken. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Shout out to the Black soldiers that went directly over there and carried American cuisine and gave that directly to them. Like, we got a lot of stuff directly over here, but like I said before, and I'm going to put it like this: if other people out there feel that they are African, that's cool. That's a beautiful thing. You feel that your soul and everything that you are is attached to the African continent. I don't got no problem with that. Go over there and be with those people. Like the two, him and the other, go over there and be with those people. If you 100% feel that Black people are African, go over there and be with those people. Go be amongst your family. Stop trying to tell every other Black person out here that what it is that they are. Like, that's some crazy work. Like, that makes no sense. Like, this is how crazy this is. These same guys can come up here and try to tell Black people, you're not indigenous, you're African. So, okay, within that, so tell every Black person what specifically is their African name. What is their African name? What is their village? What is the language that they're supposed to be speaking at the what's the national garb or the natural garb that they're supposed to be sitting up there wearing? What's the foods that they're specifically supposed to be eating? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to go to the extent of trying to tell Black Americans that they're not indigenous and all this other type of stuff and that they're African, I need you to tell me specifically where it is that I'm from. I need you to get a nice large map that is highly detailed, and with a nice little pen, mark where it is that I'm from, where my village is, and where my people are. And as soon as I go there, I expect to see people that look just like me. But they can't do that. And they know they can't. So they'll get up here and they'll grandstand, be like, yeah, you're African. They're not going to tell you specifically where in Africa that you're from with 100% accuracy, but they're going to tell you, they're going to be like, in general, you're African. Huh? You're not going to tell somebody that is from Nigeria, no, you're just, no. They're going to be like, I'm Nigerian. I'm Kenyan. I'm Somalian. I'm Ethiopian. I'm not just like, Africa or African. That's just a broad brush statement because you specifically can't say where somebody's from. But let somebody specifically from an area in Africa tell you, they're going to tell you. They're going to say, don't just say that I'm African. I'm Nigerian. I'm proud. This is my flag. This is my heritage. This is the language. This is what my people look like. This is my. They're going to go through the whole spiel. Like I said, it will let you know that that's disrespectful to sit up there and do that. And they're going to educate you. But like I said, the only group of people out of the whole planet that has to deal with the whole world trying to tell them who it is that they are and who it is that they're not are who? Black Americans. This ain't happening to no other group. I've literally seen people make videos from all over the world getting in on this topic and trying to tell Black Americans who they are, where they belong, all this. I'm like, where are all of y'all coming from? For a whole world that never really cared about Black Americans, it's real interesting all of a sudden how all of these groups magically can spot us, magically can see us, magically know that we're there. That's crazy. That's like me sitting up there talking to a group of people like in what, like Lithuania or something, trying to tell them, no, you're not Lithuanian, you're not indigenous to Lithuania. I'm going to tell you specifically who it is that you are, where it is that you come from. What? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like I said, no other group has to deal with this. No other group. That is some crazy work. That is some crazy work. Man, oh my goodness. But let's continue.
We actually do. We call sweet potatoes yams because in Africa we ate yams and we came here and said that they look the same and we just ate sweet potatoes and called them yams. You know how you have a lot of fried okra in the South? Oh yeah, okra is indigenous to the African continent. We brought that here. Also, watermelon, we brought that here. That's indigenous.
Let me just, because I like to do this. So let's go back to what he said. He said watermelon, no problem. Watermelon originally comes from Africa, specifically northeastern region. And I want to state that a lot of northerners in Africa, they don't really look at everybody else the same. I just want to point that directly out there, and especially if it deals with Black Americans, they don't really look at Black people the same, right? But they said that it was in a northeastern region, which is now Sudan and the surrounding areas, right? And they said where it was first cultivated over 4,000 years ago, right? So next he said okra, right? I'm just going to veer very clear. He said okra, right? So this is what they said about okra. They said okra comes from East Asia, especially Japan, China, and Korea, where it has been used for centuries as a byproduct of soy milk and tofu production. It is the pulp or the fiber that remains after soybeans are ground and filtered to make soy milk. So then he said, I think, did he say yams? Let me see that. Hold on, let me see.
Indigenous to the African continent, going back 6,000 years. The thing that y'all leave out.
Yeah, I think he also said yams as well too. So let me just go over that. So they said yams are from Africa and Asia. So that's two places, not just one. So if I'm to look at this, he got one correct, which would be watermelon. And then when it deals with the okra and the yams, not looking so great. Not looking so great. Watermelon, 100%, no problem. Okra and yams, yeah, you're falling off. Trajectory is going down. It's going down like the Titanic. Yams come from Africa and Asia, with West Africa being considered, now note the keyword considered, the primary center of origin for most edible species. They're different from sweet potatoes, even though in the United States, yam is often used to refer to an orange flesh sweet potato, which is mixed up, right? So there we go. Let's go back to what he said.
In your little narrative that African Americans are indigenous to America is that they didn't only bring people, they brought our foods with them. Kendrick Lamar has a song called They Not Like Us. The proper English way of saying that is they are not like us. However, when the African enslaved people that were brought here were speaking in English, they didn't have in their native tongue a plural version of the word is, which would be are. That is why many African Americans skip over the word are when we're talking about things. So the correct way to say it in an African American vernacular would be they is not like us, or just skip it all together and say they not like us. Y'all is literally speaking English with an African accent and saying you're not from Africa. It blows my mind.
So now, when we basically talk in like a slang or ebonics, we're doing that because we got that from Africa. You got to be kidding me. You got to be. And this is why I keep trying to tell people, somehow, some way, Black Americans can sit up there and tell people and show people like, yo, this is our art form. This is what we created, yada, 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 all this other type of stuff. People are like, no, you didn't create that. It's, what you want to actually say and acknowledge is that everything that you are and the things that you think you did, you got that directly from Africa. Because without Africa, you wouldn't have created that. Can't have, like I said, no other group of people on this planet has to deal with this type of stuff on an everyday basis. Nobody. Gail said, have y'all noticed all the African content creators that solely focus on Black American social issues? I am bewildered. They have immeasurable problems on that huge continent of theirs. You mean to tell me there's nothing to pick from? That's facts. Let me just highlight that. And that's been the main problem that I've had for the longest time possible. I'm like, so the moment in time that Africans happen to make it, let's say to the UK, or they make it, let's say Australia, Canada, or to the Americas, right? The first thing that people happen to do, if they're not doing like the normal, jobbage or whatnot or whatever, side hustle, they'll sit up there and start up a podcast or a channel, and they primarily solely want to focus in on Black American issues. And I'm like, I'm a little bit confused. I'm like, you got a whole bunch of things going over in Africa right now. You got a lot of corruption. You got a lot of things dealing with like Europe and other countries. You got internal wars and all of that stuff, right? But it's like y'all don't want to highlight and focus in on that because at the end of the day that nobody's going to care, not even you, and that it's not going to bring you the money, the limelight, or the attention that you think that you deserve. So in order to seek out that attention, you as an African has to speak on Black Americans in order to get something. And this is how a lot of those content creators are born. Because it's crazy that I see Africans in the UK, right, decide that they want to talk about the dating scene in the United States. How are you talking about a place you more than likely have never been? The only thing that you can speak on is the fact of videos that are put directly out there and what Black Americans are talking about. How are you talking about anything dealing with the United? How? That don't make no sense. But yet, that's the content that they do. And they be having real deep thoughts. They be just going in circles. It'd be like a whole cipher. And people just be talking. And I'm like, y'all talking mighty big right now for people that's copying. Because I'm like, if you're a woman directly from Africa, y'all don't got like lace fronts and stuff like that, right? Y'all don't really have the whole thing like where y'all like really do y'all hair and stuff, right? Where did y'all get that from? Because that seems like something that was Black American. Even when it deals with the nails, how Black girls will normally bedazzle, do this, that with their nails and designs. That's not stuff that y'all was sitting up there rolling up doing, just like, yeah, this is what we're just naturally doing over here in Africa. Just no, you weren't sitting up to doing that. Even going by the way that I'm looking at a lot of these African women dressing, that ain't you naturally. I'm like, you wearing a lot of American stuff there. And specifically and primarily stuff that Black Americans will be wearing. And you're styling yourself the way that Black Americans would normally style. I'm like, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit crazy to me. But yet everybody's sitting up there trying to tell us that we don't have no culture, no effect, no waves, no nothing, that we got everything from Africa. Why is it that I'm just now seeing Africans catch up to how it is that Black Americans naturally dress here. You got some Africans that are still dressing as if we're in the 2000s. I'm talking about like 03, like 02, 03, 04, 05. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, we're not in that. That was a time period once before. Lean with it, rock with it, right? that was a time period. Now walk it out, right? But that's not you, right? I just got to keep doing it because I like doing it. But that was a certain time period. We're not there right now. Like you wearing the oversized like jerseys, the jean pants. I'm not even sure what type of shoes y'all got. Like them bad boys look like some knockoff Payless shoes, to be honest. And y'all wearing them boys on dirt roads. Brother, that is not how we get down out here. You are not going to be able to clean those shoes. Like the amount of cleaner that you would have to have bi-yearly just to keep up with those shoes because you're walking on like red dirt roads. Crazy work. And then on top of that, like I know that for a fact that you would have dirt and stuff directly in your shoes. So not only like if you're wearing white shoes, it's curtains. So you better make sure that you're wearing something that has a nice dark color to it so that it's not, if it gets discolored, it ain't going to be really nothing much. If you're wearing white, it's going to be yellow. Like it's over. It's going to be curtains. Like it's a difference between wearing white Air Force Ones in America versus wearing white Air Force Ones over there in Africa. You can at least keep up with them over here. You ain't keeping up with them bad boys over there. It's over. It is over. But like I said, looking at, the haircuts and the styles and whatnot or whatever, it's looking real Black American. Looking real Black American. Like I said, I'm looking at Africans sitting up there wearing chains. Huh? What's really? That's grills? Huh? Word? That's what we're doing? That's what you're doing? And then some of y'all, to an extent, got the nerve to be putting in contacts too? Huh? What's going on? When y'all start doing that? We all start doing that. I remember back in school, I had kids doing that. We all start doing that. And out of the hundreds of years, when were Africans sitting up there doing the whole things with contacts, changing the color of their eyes? When that start up? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. Like I said, I guess we got backwards jerseys and everything directly from Africa too, right? The whole thing with like Guess, Fubu, and I guess we got that from Africa. We're copying everything from them, including rap, right? R&B. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Ronnie said, I seen an older African man with a long leather coat on. I said he was in Africa digging that in the 80s. Probably was. Mo said, I don't wear sandals, barefoot with slacks. Yeah, I don't do that either. Cause I'm like, no. We don't, like I said, we don't got that type of weather out here. Like that is not the weather here in Americas where you can just be like, hey, I'm about to just sit up there and like wear some sandals. Nah, boy. You better sit up there and put on some boots. You better have on some nice high tops, something that come quite above the ankle. You better make sure to have something with ankle support. Cause if you don't, Payless shoes ain't got no grip. They'll make you fall and bust your lip. So I guess technically that whole terminology from Payless, I guess we got that from Africa too, right? Because they got a Payless over there. They were the first ones that really, had that. Like I said, I could just keep going. Like let's we can go something to let's go to TV shows like Living Single, Martin. I guess we got that from Africa. I guess in Living, in Living Color, the Cosbys, Hang with Mr. Cooper, In the House. Like I guess all of our sitcoms too, in the way that we act in those sitcoms and talk, we got that from Africa as well, right? Come on now. Some crazy work. Crazy work. Ronnie said they actually just started locking their hair, and the lady putting in whatever grease they were doing on their skin, trying to glow. Ebony said they are still wearing cross colors and IOU gear from the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're stuck in like a time warp or something. Like, it's crazy. Like, I done seen too many videos of Africans like walking around with like some fake gold chains, exaggerated fake gold chains. Like they cap like tilted directly to the side. I'm like, yo, that was a part of an era that we are no longer on. Like, you're not seeing a lot of black dudes wear their hats like backwards no more. Like, we're not doing a lot of that no more, or trying to style their hats like T.I. Like, we're not in that era. That was at a point in time. But I'm like, people are so late, they don't know what's happening. Like, they are literally stuck. I think what was the calendar that they said that was like 7 years behind? Wasn't it like the Ethiopian calendar? I think they said it was like 7 or 8 years, 8 years back or something like that. So the time that we say that we're in is not actually the time. I feel like that's a lot of Africans when it deals with Black Americans and how it is that we move and culturally where we are. They are pretty much still trying to catch up. They are like close to a decade back, if not more. It's crazy work though, but it be like that. So let's go to the next thing.
Money at Dunkin' Donuts, y'all. Like, come on, man. What is this?
It's crazy.
Straight bulletproof glass through the whole thing, man. I mean, you can't even breathe on these people. Look how sealed this is. This is a professional seal. Like, you can't even talk to these people barely.
Appreciate you, man.
Getting up every day and seeing something like this, bro, that do something to your mental up here. It tell you, like, this how you feed animals in a zoo, gang. Like, that's pretty much what it's telling your mentality. Like, I don't trust you. You feel what I'm saying? At what point do we be like, we tired of getting treated like animals, tired of getting treated like this? Like, bro, like, you telling me I can't even hand you my money, gang? Like, bro, like, the people who be owning these don't be from the community. They don't be from the city. They don't. You grow up, imagine you see this every day for your whole life, and then you go to someplace else and you see them handing the money. You gonna think something wrong with you, gang? Like, it's crazy, man.
I don't got a problem with what it is that he's stating, but he's not being real about the situation. The reason that they would need bulletproof glass and they would need that little turnstile that they got for the food is because more than likely people come in there, they've been robbed enough times. They had enough incidences where people want to fight and jump behind the counter and do this and do that. So it's like, all right, on one end, I get what you're saying. It's like, yeah, these people not from the community, all this other type of good stuff. But at the same time, you got to acknowledge the fact that you got people. This is a young dude. You got people in your generation that's going around in the streets, ripping and running. They tearing up these businesses. They robbing these businesses. And what? So you think that the businesses are just supposed to stay the same, let everything be open so that those same people can keep committing the exact same acts? Nah, they gotta protect their brand, they gotta protect the investment, they gotta protect their business, they gotta protect the workers. So it's like, miss me with what it is that you're trying to sit up there and state, because if you actually care that much, then you will be actually going to the root of the source, which is the people in the community that are committing these acts. Because like I said, living in Detroit, I can sit up there and be honest about some of the stuff that happens. But we got places where you don't have glass, other places where you do got glass. You got a 50-50. But like I said, you can only blame the fact of the people there committing crimes against those businesses. It's not like people just decided like, okay, I'm about to just go to the worst black community. I'm about to open up a business where I know it's just like poor and this, that, and the third. And I'm going to have bulletproof glass, everything, Gallic guns, lasers, and all. Huh? No, that's not how it starts. Normally, businesses will come in there as normal businesses. But once things start happening, because like I said before, liquor stores didn't always have bulletproof glass. They started having bulletproof glass because people started robbing convenience stores. Are we not going to sit up there and look at the source, look at the problem? Or are we just going to sit up there and try to blame the businesses and try to act like they're the reason that it's like, nah. No. What should actually happen is that something that does something to your mentality is seeing your own people. Like I said, me as a black man, black American, I told y'all before, back when I was younger, it was during high school. I want to say maybe what year that might have been. Was it about 20? It should have been like the tail end of high school, or maybe like a little bit after. I remember because I would normally be up at night, either watching Adult Swim, Toonami, or playing on a 360. I heard some people, being nosy as I am, heard some people on the corner, basically shouting and whatnot. Saw a dude, young dude, basically get directly into a car. And then next thing I know, you hear like a loud noise. And then, you hear the car door slam and the car speeds off, and you see a young black man laying there. He was already gone. One of the nurses, that was on a block. She was on the next block. She came out there and she tried to perform life-saving measures on him. She couldn't. It was nothing that she could sit up there and do. So that's something that I'm aware of. That's something that I was actually able to see and literally hear. I was out there on my front porch when the police came through, going door to door, when it was taping up the four corners of the block, because now that's a crime scene because a crime was committed. Somebody lost their life. So we want to quote unquote blame businesses on how it is that we are mentally, but we don't want to blame ourselves and the people that are around us for how it is that we perceive and see ourselves as devalued human beings, and how it is that we lack respect for one another, how we lack love, caring, empathy, sympathy. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I like this is why I need people to have some type of like emotional awareness. I need people to start being honest. And like I said, this is, I understand. Again, I'm not dismissing what he's saying because I understand it, but you're also being disingenuous. You're with the whole thing. When you only want to point the problem at the business and not at your own people that are committing these acts that you more than likely went to school with, that you more than likely seen somewhere on the block or whatnot or whatever. Like I said, he knows that there's some young men out there within the community that he just stays directly away from, that he ain't even trying to have nothing to do with, because he knows what type of people they are. And those same people that he's trying to stay away from, those are the same ones that's in the community messing it up. But you want to sit up there and be mad at the business because they trying to protect themselves and the workers. Behind that glass, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter. It don't matter what your feelings is. Your feelings is your feelings. Stop being so sensitive, because those kids need protection, or those people need protection. So you mean to tell me that we should take down the bulletproof glass so that you can feel human and hand somebody some money just so that the next person behind you, or the same money that you handed, they'll sit up there and take and rob and also take their life for what, $12? All because of your feelings? That's where we at? That's crazy to me. That's 100% crazy. 100% crazy. Oh, we got a straight troll up in here talking about Black Americans. Y'all need to do better. So you messed up the first time, and then you want to come back and say that we need to stop taking each other's lives. Which one is it? Are you Black American or are you not? Because I'm looking at the title of your supposed YouTube channel, and I'm like, that wordage is not really something that a Black woman would say. I know somebody that's Black that would use that wordage for themselves, but it wouldn't be a Black woman. It wouldn't be a Black woman. Let me see. I gotta go to. Let me see. Yeah. Ebony once said, if they feel slighted by the glass, then don't spend your money at that location. That's bars. But I'm like, but this is the problem. What's the use of boycotting, right? When, let's say if a Black business did open up and they decided not to have the glass, then they keep getting robbed repeatedly. They got two options. They can start getting armed security, get bulletproof glass, or that black business could be like, all right, we're done with getting robbed and potentially, risking or losing lives. We're just out of the black community. Now what? Now what are we, going to do? Which one, is it going to be? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Which one is it going to be? Let me see. Oh yeah, I see that Ty had already got him real quick. Yeah, I had to sit up there and look. I'm looking at that picture. I'm like, that's looking real grainy. I'm like, that picture looking real grainy. I'm like, yeah, that ain't real. That ain't real. That ain't real. Ty was like, I gave her the boot. That's crazy. She was like, when did I say I wasn't black? When you said black Americans. Because like I said, I've been doing this for too long where I see people where they say one thing and then they'll come back and then say, something worded a little bit differently. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's looking a little bit suspicious. Looking a little bit suspicious. What was it? D said, I was checking for your live. I'm going to have to rewatch it after work. No problem. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Tippy said, get bulletproof glass and hire kind of caring, polite black people. Ronnie said, man, they know how to find us, don't they? Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. Like I said, I was looking at the name and everything like that. I'm like, I didn't heard some black people use that, but it wasn't black women that would, really use that towards themselves. It would be specific blacks, but it wouldn't be black women, right? Ebony said, well, the owners of the stores should have connections with the community so that they are not in danger of being robbed. The mom and pop stores of old knew how to handle the people of the neighborhood. Well, see, that was a difference. See, now, everyone, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. They should know the community or have connections within the community. I do 100% agree, right? The problem is now it's different. You got 12-year-old kids out here that got switches, right? Or to calm down the vernacular and roll it back. You have 12-year-olds that have weapons that have this piece that they can install, which is illegal, a piece that they can install on the weapon that would turn it from a semi to a fully automatic weapon, which it's not supposed to be doing, right? And then they'll also put an extended clip or a drum directly on there, and there you go. Right, because I got a video of some kids, I think was in Chicago, I think it was. Kids were literally like the kid, I think he had about like 7 guns on him. I'm like, dog, like, why even like what, like, who are you preparing? Like, you would have thought he was fighting like, the Mutant Brotherhood or something. Like, you would have thought he was fighting like some pulse, some putties from Rita Repulsa or something. Dude literally has 7 guns on him. I'm like, dog, what is you doing? I'm like, your life, the moment of time that I happen to see kids like that, I'm like, your life is already done. Your life is done. Like, there is more than likely no saving at all. Like, if this is your mentality where you feel like you need to walk around with like 7, like, you're not able to run. At that point that you got 7 weapons on you and they're loaded, you already know what it is. You're not running. You're not jumping no fences. You're not hurrying up and getting to a car. Nah, you going to try to sit up there and walk something down. You're going to spray one out, throw the gun somewhere, spray another. You're treating it like Borderlands. Spray one, drop it. Spray another, drop it. Spray another, drop it. Like, that's all it is. It ain't no such thing as reloading. Right? So at a moment in time, like, yeah, maybe the mom and pop shops of old, they knew how to handle people. Now it's different. Like, it's way different. Like, back at certain times, people actually had a respect for elders directly in the community. Not so much now, if any. Like, in the black community, respect and value is lacking. Love is lacking. Like, it is tough. It is tough. And I'm not trying to sit up there and say that you can't go in the black community and find stuff. You can. You can. like I said, it was a moment in time that I could sit up there and just walk down the street and just like give a head nod and say, what's up to somebody, and it's just that. Now I'm not sure. I haven't tried to do that in a minute. I'm not sure what the response will be, especially if it's somebody younger, because words change. If you say like what's up to somebody, they might be really trying to see, yo, what's up? Like what you mean? Like what you trying to do? Right? That whole thing. So it's like, you can't even really talk the same. Can't even really talk the same. It's crazy out here. Tippy said, don't hire the ones with rainbow weaves. Because they might have a bad attitude and want to fight. And they say that they don't care about this job. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Tippy. I know what you're talking about. Ronnie said, we can't never mind our own black businesses. Ty said, I got to make my presence known as facts. Ebony said, your vernacular is fine. I knew what a switch was. No. I pull back sometimes because you got people from other areas. You got the whites, directly out there. I'm like, what is this? The Sketo black slang vernacular that you're. I don't. What is a switch? You mean what your parents used to get from the tree because you deserved a beating? Like, is that what the switch that you're talking about? People are fearful of that. Like, really? So I gotta do that. Every once in a while because I gotta remind myself. Ebony said it's all good. However, you're right. The children are a bit too wild compared to my generation. Yeah. Gail was like 100%. Or why? What is up with upset? 7 power tools. They were ready for Mortal Kombat. Yeah, they were. Yeah, like it's crazy. Tippy was like, damn, just by saying what's up. Yeah, it's like that. Because greetings mean different things in other areas, and you also got to worry about the tone in which that you just so happen to say it. Like if somebody white said what's up, nobody black is going to be like, oh, what's up, what you trying to. Ain't nobody about to sit up there and do that. But if they see somebody who looks like the same age or whatnot or whatever, and it's a 50-50. People gonna be trying to check where where people's energy levels is, and like I said, it's tiring. It is very tiring. Like I said, good luck to the ones growing up in this timeline, because Lord, there was a lot of things that you got to be conscious of, that you got to be aware of every single time. Like growing up, I never had to worry about going to the mall and like really look over my shoulders and try to like figure out like, yo, is that somebody like that's such and such? Like, yo, do we got a problem? Do we got to do this or do that? Like, yo, I think we might need to like move out real quick. We didn't have to do that. Like these kids now, it's like, yo, it's just crazy. Like everybody is into something. Everybody knows somebody that fought this person, other people about to get ready to fight, somebody about to jump somebody from like 2 weeks ago because of something that was it's madness out here, man. Like I said, I know what I'm talking about because I can watch a lot of your kids out here, making videos and all this. Like I said, I don't know how that shows up on my timeline when it deals with X, aka Twitter. I'm not sure how that works, but there's a lot of these kids out here that like posting incriminating evidence of them going to somebody's house and fighting them. That's assault. To be 100% honest, somebody needs to be getting charged. Somebody 100% needs to get charged. And then they'll be having all of these threads directly down there, and then all of these kids will be sitting up there talking, and they'll be incriminating themselves like, oh yeah, I was there, I was recording, I was in the background, and I got a few hits. I'm like, y'all stupid. Sometimes like I just want to pull up there. I'm like, yo, why are y'all incriminating yourselves? I'm like, y'all need to take this. But when you tell kids something that they need to sit up there and hear, all of them will sit up there and like look at you, and they'll just start, cussing you out, this, that, and that. I'm like, you got it. I'm like, so when the police come knocking, somebody get arrested, and then y'all get arrested for accessories because the police then already got this thread, and they want to charge people who was there and didn't stop it. It's on you. Because I ain't trying to hear your parents online talk about some, oh my God, my little baby, this was not who they were. And I ain't trying to hear that. Ebony said, facts, I was raised to have mad respect for my elders when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s. Back then, we could still get jacked up by our parents on the strength of the word of elders. Yep, that's true. That's true. That's bars. Tippy said, well, I'll probably look at a white person strange if he or she comes up to me saying "What's up?" Stay cautious. Only Tippy. Let me tell you something. We got another video here. Let's go to this one.
Welcome to, but
So this is H&M. Let me take this banner down real quick.
Service that we just there's no reason but that's what we're gonna go ahead and do today. I will go ahead and I'll take that if you guys could go ahead and please leave the store. We'd really appreciate it.
Wait, so why do you have to leave the store?
Because we're just refusing service. We don't have to have a reason.
I think you should have a reason for kicking us out of the store. We're just shopping here. What is your reason?
To be completely honest with you, I don't have to have a reason. I'm just letting you guys know.
So, are you gonna kick everyone else out of the store too?
Funny. If we have the right to refuse service to anybody, so I'm having the right to refuse service to you guys. I don't have to have a reason. That is my reason. So I'm just asking you guys to please leave the store today.
It's ridiculous. It's really happening. So you've seen us steal before? Is that what you're saying?
Nobody said that at all.
That's what he said. That we're repeat shoplifters here.
We've seen you in here before. I didn't say
I have not been here in
so
I haven't been here I don't even know the last time I've been here.
To be honest with you guys, we've seen you in here plenty of times before.
Us too.
Yeah, we've seen people.
Do you have like a picture? Because it's not us.
I don't need to show you guys. I'm refusing service to you guys today. I've asked you guys to please leave the store. I don't need you guys to get violent or anything like that.
I'm violent.
You guys
Let's go. Let's go.
guys, hold on. If you guys want, I'll talk to you guys outside. Okay.
How are we getting violent? Violent. It's crazy. This is, I can't.
That's some yeah, you gotta be a troll because you sitting up here. Let me just pack you on up because it's looking real weird. I'm not doing that. Not even doing that one. It's looking real weird. You are out of here with you and your pizzas. I don't know what type of pizza time you're on. We don't do that over here, sir. We don't do that over here. I need an adult. Might have to get Chris Hansen on that, man. I don't know. But yo, the craziest part is I've done videos talking about H&M. And I've made sure to sit up there and tell the black community about a lot of these corporations, a lot of these businesses do not care about us and how it is that they decide to treat us, especially when we're giving them money. They don't care. As long as they get the money, it is what it is. Even if they get one sale and then they put you out, it's like, well, we got your money. It don't matter. Right. And that's what this woman is sitting up there doing. She's like, oh, we've seen you guys here many of times. What are you talking about? She's asking for proof. Okay, so if you've seen it many of times, show the video. Show a picture or something. Because this is the same thing I've heard at a lot of these stores when it deals with black people. And then this woman had the nerve to sit up there and say, like, oh, we don't need you getting violent. What are you talking about? What stereotypes are you going off of? Because I swear she's like 5 seconds away from trying to call one of them like a Shaniqua or something like that, or a Sharkeisha. I swear that that's mentally where she is. Because I'm like, how do you get to the point of both of these young black girls are talking as calm as day, like they ain't getting ratchet, they not getting rowdy, none of it. Ain't talking about they're about to knock you out and pull your hair. They ain't doing none of that. They talking to you calm, trying to just understand what happened, what's going on, and how can we rectify this situation. You turn around and you're like, we need you to get out the store because we don't need you getting violent. What? Now, see, that's the point in time that people would decide to get violent. That's the point in time. That's the point in time. Who was that? D said it was kind of low. Yeah, that's why I made sure to try to have the subtitles up there. The reason why the volume seemed a little bit low is because I tried to focus more on the voice of both of the people there. And I tried to get the music out the background because you know what, a lot of these stores, they play copyrighted music. So I had to, try to get rid of that in order for us to at least, hear the video. So that's what I tried to do. So my apologies if you could not properly, hear it. But yeah. RY said, did you see the video about the brother? Yeah, I posted that. I posted it about like a week ago on the channel. I posted, if you actually look through the videos, I did a live stream, and then I also posted it roughly within like that same day, within like a 24-hour period. I posted it. So yeah, we got that one up there. Trust me. Tippy said, I want a black-owned clothing store to do the same thing. Call the cops and see what happens. Well, the cops asked the owner, well, what did they do for you to call the cops on them? No, yeah, if a black owned business did that to somebody white, the cops are going to come in there and they're going to automatically take the side of the white customer. If it's the reverse, where it's a Banana Republic, an H&M, or any of these other Gucci, whatever it is, the police are going to take the side directly of the business. Like that's specifically what they're going to do, and we've seen this happen a multitude of times. There was a black man that literally worked for, I think it should have been like Versace, and he had some Versace bags, and the police literally stopped him to check him. And I'm like, are you guys dumb? Are you stupid? Are you just like, are you straight fools? Like, this dude literally works for the company, and magically you're trying to insinuate that he's stealing. Brother, like I said, there ain't nothing you can do. Like I said, this is how they think, and this is how they specifically see black people. They always look at them as a danger. They always see them as this type of negative entity. They are always quick to call the cops and do all it. Like I said, it's crazy. Again, even with her thought, I don't have to specifically tell you. I just want you out of the store. Oh, I would have loved for this to happen, and for one of their parents to actually be an owner of that store in that mall, if it was a mall. I would love for that turn of events. Dear God, I would pray to see that at a moment in time, because the look on somebody's face, they're going to be looking straight stupid. Straight stupid. And I promise you, there's going to be a point in time when it's going to happen. It is, I promise you, at a certain moment in time, it is going to, whew, man, that's going to be a hilarious video. Let me tell you. It's whoo boy, it's crazy. Ebony said exactly, no pizza and hot dogs. Leave that to the Wayfair people. Yeah, that's bars. That is bars. RY said, thank you, no problem. What was that? Mia said H&M has racist practices. We just need to spend our money where we are welcome. And truth be told, her people are the ones that are stealing more than anyone else, as documented by the FBI stats. Oh yeah, 100%. I didn't talk about that before too. But the moment in time you happen to bring any of that stuff up, people want to move the goalposts. They want to start talking about a whole bunch of other stuff, which is crazy, completely diabolical. But yet here we are. This is what we gotta gotta deal with at the moment in time. A whole bunch of nonsensicalness all over the place. Literally all over the place. I'm trying to see if I might have. Trying to see. Let me see. Because I think I did have something from a previous. Let me see. What was this? Oh, matter of fact, yeah. Let me show y'all this video. Wait, does this have sound? Let me see. So this is for this is for my black people out here. So this is we all see the hands there, correct? We all see the hands. This person, let's just listen, because this person is going to fry chicken, and I'm saying that correctly. This person is going to fry chicken in boiling water. Let's just learn here, right? Let's pay attention.
I no longer fry chicken in oil, now I do it in water. To start with the recipe, in a saucepan with water, we will add a kilogram of chicken thighs and let them cook for 2 minutes. Next we will season with a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, 3 cloves of garlic, minced.
Brother, ain't nothing covered.
And we are going to stir to mix the seasonings with the chicken. Tell me how you fry chicken at home. I would love to know your recipe. We're going to cover it and let it cook a little more. In the meantime, tell me from which country or city you watch us so I can send you a special greeting in the next recipe. Today's hug is for Roberto Lum, who watches us from Peru, and another greeting for Zoraida Gonzalez, who watches us from Tampa. Thank you for always watching and enjoying our recipes. When our chicken is almost dry, we will add 50 milliliters of soy sauce, And we will stir again to incorporate.
They
I'm
got
sure
more
you'll love
soy
this
sauce than
recipe,
anything.
since our chicken is fried without oil, just with water. This is a healthy way to cook chicken. At this point, we will add a tablespoon of ketchup, a spoonful of honey. Once you have fried the chicken this way, you will not want to do it any other way. It is not only healthy, it is practical, and the result is incredible. And now our chicken is ready. Look how golden and juicy it is. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. See you next time, friends. A hug.
There is nothing fried on that plate. I ain't never. Let me. Let me let y'all know something. This is not fried chicken. This is nowhere close to frying no type of. I ain't never in all of my days. In all of my days, I've never in my life. Now I know what steamed chicken is because my grandmother would make that with the Campbell's cream of mushroom and with the rice and everything like that. I know what steamed chicken is. This is not frying chicken. White people, I need y'all to stop lying to people. I need y'all to stop lying. And I've never in my life put ketchup on chicken. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's happening. The most seasoning that was actually there was the soy sauce. That's a lot of sodium. I can tell you that. There's a lot of sodium in that chicken. I can tell you that. You'll taste that sodium. I'm not sure what else you're going to sit up there and taste, but you're going to taste that sodium. That is crazy. Y'all doing that confidently, white people? This is why black people don't like going to potlucks. This is why we say no to a lot of y'all family gatherings. This is why we are just not there. This is we got something to do. You know, I gotta build a bathroom in a 21 story apartment building. I gotta save a kid from a tree. Timmy is down the well. We will be everywhere else, but where it is that you are eating, because we know that these are the types of cockamamie concoctions that you guys would decide to come up with. Crazy work. You know something else real crazy? There's a Daisy commercial. If you happen to see it, if you're on YouTube or if you watch TV, everybody knows what sour cream is, right? I've never seen this up until white people did it. I did not know that white people like sour cream and strawberries. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing up until I saw it in a commercial. White people, what are you guys doing? What is going on directly out here? I know whipped cream and strawberries and whipped cream. I don't know nothing dealing with strawberries and sour cream. Wow. Just wow. Just wow. It's just wow. Jug said wait. Mo said she left out the race. She probably did. Ebony said we can't trust the food. Why? The cat being on the counter and they don't wash their hands and unseasoned food. Yeah, it'd be like that. Pets be all over the place. RY said this is placed next to the raisin the potato salad and the 40 casseroles at the company potluck. Yeah, crazy work. D said that sounds nasty, brother. I believe it is. I would not even try it just for an experimentation purpose. I would never even do it. I feel like I probably wouldn't even have a stomach. Tippy says sour cream and what? Sour cream and strawberries. There was literally a white woman on a sour cream commercial. It was for Daisy, Dollopin Daisy, whatever the sour cream brand is. And you saw them put sour cream on a lot of different things. It was another type of dish that they put sour cream on. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I'm like, what? And I'm like, y'all really confident about this? And y'all smiling in this commercial like this is fine? Oh my God. It's crazy work out here. Crazy. Tibby said, I would understand cream cheese and strawberries, but RY said, never even heard of sour cream and strawberries being a thing. I never heard of it either. Sham said, what is she making? something that you don't want to eat that would probably put you in the hospital real quick. I wouldn't even recommend it. That is this delicacy is called fried chicken, but it's in boiling water. So it's fried chicken in boiling water. Out of all of my black days on this planet, I've never seen this before. I don't know what witchcraft or sorcery this is, but this is not what fried chicken looks like. Never seen it. Ronnie said, like when you play our hair up, they have renamed it as rope braids, French braids, Bo Derek braids. They asked the still, they can't think. That's bars. Tippy said, yeah, they don't want a chance after leaving the restroom. That's facts. D said, I'm surprised there were no salt and pepper in that. Nah, there was salt and pepper earlier, but that salt is, if you're putting salt in water, that salt is gone. That salt is, you didn't put enough to do anything, right? Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Tippy was like, maybe she knows something that we don't. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Ronnie said, Mint, put her hair up. Oh, yeah, I got you. Tippy said, next they're going to say chain braids. Oh, yeah, that'll probably be a thing, too. It'll probably be right up there. Probably be right up. Like I said, I remember when black girls were sitting up there crocheting their braids. They would take the crochet sticks and they would do that to braid hair. Some black girls are nice at crocheting. There was one black girl that I knew back in middle school. She was so nice. She was so nice in crocheting that the teachers allowed her to do a class to teach crocheting after school. Like, that girl was nice. That girl was nice. That girl was smart. I think she's still currently in the service, or no, she should be out, I think. But yeah. Sham said, LMAO, why they always in denial over everything. Now they in denial about boiled chicken. You know how expensive wings and drumlets are. Playing with food too much. White people. True. Tippy said trail braids. Yeah. That's just some trail braids. Jamal said them folks cannot cook. Diabolical. D Money said salmonella poisoning is waiting to happen. Probably so. You know what? It looks done. I still wouldn't be trying it. I still wouldn't be tasting it. But it's done enough for them. I'm looking at white meat. The chicken was boiled, so aka steamed chicken. So hey, I know those are some very wet wings. That's all I do know. That's all I do know. There is not enough seasoning directly on that for it to be a thing. I'm sorry, it's just not. But anyways, that is actually it, my fair people. That's actually all I wanted to go directly over. I may, at a point in time, you'll probably see me randomly decide to stream a new Xbox game. I'm not going to say when. It'll just be random, so you'll probably happen to see it when you happen to see it. So that will happen at a moment in time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to go over. Shout out to any and everybody that decided to donate that came directly through to the stream. Let me see what we got. Let me try to go back to the what's the name real quick. Dope part is we have people for a nice hot 4 minutes, which is pretty dope, pretty awesome. We are currently actually on our way to 40K at this moment in time on this platform. So, which is actually pretty great. So, much love, respect, and appreciation to any and everybody that been subscribing to the platform, hitting that button, and also hitting the notifications button as well. Much love, respect, and appreciation. I'm not sure how this is looking a little bit weird here, but I guess it is what it is. I guess we'll just like fix that with like a game stream or something like that. We had a nice 2K people actually roll through. So shout out to y'all. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Wait, let me go back to the comments real quick. Let me catch them real quick. Ebony said, great presentation today, and thank you. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Tippy said, do they have wet wings at restaurants? I guess if you're going like Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that, I guess. I guess. All I said, y'all in the chat had me rolling. Tippy said it looked like they made teriyaki chicken. Yeah, it does. It does. Sham says she put a little green onions on it to make it look like it was going to be good. Yeah, it's like how people just try to throw like some parsley on something when they ain't really do nothing. Yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. D said, big time. I don't like going to the potlucks, especially if I know they got animals. Yeah. Like I say, if you seen that one episode of Seinfeld where Kramer was washing the salad in the shower while he was showering, yeah, that'd be some real stuff. Like I saw somebody, like I said, I might have to do a compilation video. I'll probably just wait and do that one. Shem said it's the same with our air fried wings. It's just baked wings that use wind flow. Nothing fried about it. That's true. That's true. Yo, James Hudson says, Seji, I am tapped in. We got Miss Anderson. Hey, look here, man. I'm about to hit you up in a minute because I ain't seen you in a minute. I'm like, yo, I'm looking for some brand new content. I was looking for some live streams. I ain't seen nothing from Miss Anderson. I'm like, yo, where is she at? She is incognito, just out there in the shadows. And I'm like, here we go. Here we go. And we got a hot 69 people here at this moment in time. Much love, respect, and appreciation. But yeah. I'm about to hit you up in a minute. Cause I'm like, yeah, where the content at? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for some gaming content or something. I was waiting for some live streams so I could just sit up there and just be like laughing and everything like that. I ain't get nothing. I done checked TikTok, I done checked IG. I think even YouTube, I got nothing. Nothing at all. Oh man. We're up there rolling. Miss Anderson said, oh Tay. Ty says, Seji, I should have Wi-Fi by the end of the week. Okay, brother. All right. We're gonna see you back on the game at this moment. I'm supposed to, I think, download Marvel Avengers because I think I saw like Senshi playing it. So I was probably going to jump back on there to see if anything changed. It's been years since I've actually played that, but I do got some level characters, so I was probably going to jump on there and probably see what it is and what's going on and everything like that. Sham said they'll cook your food with unwashed poop hands in a heartbeat. They wonder why they get Ebola. Tippy said they wouldn't be doing everything to help you. I see that all the time. Majority of black women help them teach them everything that we do, giving them all of our secrets. It's really annoying. Yeah, you talking about the whole thing that you were talking about with the hair and stuff? Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be tough. But like I said, like the ways that I've seen over the years, black girls just sit up there and like braid is crazy. It is insane. It's like some crazy work. And then if you got like 3 like black girls like in like a groove and like all of them have been like they grew up around each other and they know how to like braid, dog. Yo, the types of can't get my words right. Intricacies that you will get in the braids. Oh, it's crazy. Like it is some crazy work. And the amount of work that they can actually get done within the time period is insane. Insane. Like I said, shout out to the braiders out there. Shout out to the braiders. Ebony said hit the like button and that subscribe button. That's bars. Let me just put that directly up there. Tippy said scroll up and read everything I said. I did, Tippy. This one be claiming I don't be reading. Let me see. It looks like she made it try to make teriyaki. Yeah, I read all that. Tippy be swearing up and down. I ain't read none of her comments. See me? I see it. I read them. D Money said one day racism will end and it'll be a food video like that'll bring us back in full force. Yeah, it probably would. It probably would. Because the moment in time that racism basically ends and everything is fine and dandy, you're gonna have white people doing soul food. And it ain't gonna be soul food. It ain't gonna be no soul in that food at all. It's just gonna be just bland, bare, and just celery and raisins and tree bark with a little spice of dirt. That's it. That's it. That is what it's gonna be. Tippy said, what was it? Beads, little hoops, and in between the braids with seashells. I was about to say seashells. Yeah, I seen all that. Like I said, the braids that you would have in like the 90s and like the 2000s, dope. You pretty much don't have that at this moment because a lot of people just go to like the Africans to get their hair braided. And that's another thing too for the Africans out there that hate that Black Americans say that we go to the Africans to get our hair braided. It is what it is. It's literally on the name of the shop, African Hair Braiding. So if we say that we're going to the Africans, we're going to the Africans. I'm not sure how that's a problem. I'm not sure how Africans online are getting like mad about that, but that's a little bit weird to me. But yeah, y'all just gonna have to deal with it. RY said not the celery and tree bark. Oh yeah, that celery and tree bark. Gotta be tough. Gotta be tough. Jug said, I want to link up with you during a stream, but let me know which game would be good for crossplay. The only ones with Marvel I have is Marvel versus Capcom Fighting Collections. I actually got Fighting Collections, but I haven't even really played in a minute. Like I said, I am not the same that I was in fighting games. I'll really have to sit up there and spend some time. I gotta get the drive. I gotta get the drive back. I'm hoping that my drive for fighting games will be there once Virtual Fighter drops, because that was like one of my one of my main games. It was like Virtual Fighter, and then I played Tekken first, but I ended up spending way more time technically on Virtual Fighter than Tekken. When it came to that. So we'll see. We will see what will happen. Tippy said, live stream. Ty says, Seji, check your X blocks messages. Will my stream crash if I do OBS? He said just so I can be updated on what's been happening. All right, I got you. Let me see. Everything's about except for my monitor, but I'd rather that break than my TV. Wait, what is that? Right. Okay, the what's the name? I'm gonna have to read. You said so. So I was. They. Wow. 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 That's crazy, man. You said what? Yeah, that's some at that moment in time, I would almost want to sit up there and say that there should be like a countersuit that should sit up there and happen because this is causing emotional distress. This is causing situations dealing with money and like I said, I'm paraphrasing because I'm still doing like the live stream stuff. But yeah, like that's crazy. That is some crazy work right there. That is some crazy work, man. I didn't even know that happened. Jesus. Jesus, man. It's like I would like stuff like that. I would damn near want to sit up there and do like a story on, but I know that if the other ones directly out there happen to like catch wind, then it'll probably make things worse. Because so it's because I hate when stuff like that happens, and you got people out here just you know, I'm happy for you as well. Like I said, you know, you've gone through a lot of stuff. It's that is crazy because that could have went way differently. That could have went way differently. Jesus, Jesus, man. But like I said, everything is good now. You are completely freed. You don't got nothing to be responsible for directly out here no more. Now you can just do whatever. Go out here and see the world. Go see the world. Go sit up there and have a nice vacation. Go decompress. You know, go to Japan or something like that. Go have some sushi and whatnot. You ever said peace and love and soul? I'll be watching on the TV. Gotcha. Sham said, I like Asian wings, but I fry mine in oil and add the sauce. I make curry chicken, which is boiled with a lot of flavor. Sham said, oh, Nintendo raising the cost because of the tariffs. Yeah. They said the funny thing too is about the Switch 2 is that over in Japan it costs $330. That's roughly about the price that I paid for the Switch 2, roughly somewhere around there. But I got like a bundle. So it's $330 over there in Japan. But if it comes over here to America, we're gonna be paying like an excess of about like almost like $500. Crazy work. Shout out to Trump though. Shout out to Trump. Sham said they pulled the Switch 2 pre-orders too. Yeah. Yep. Tippy said, but I heard once you buy the games, you have to ask permission to download it. No. You don't gotta ask for like if you have the game, you can have a family plan where you place the like other people, like let's say, all right, Tippy, let's say you're on my family plan. I got Ty and like and Sham, like all of us are directly on a Switch. So what you could basically do is that I could have you guys on the family plan and you can go directly into the library and we can all play those games, at least the games that are able to be accessed in that way and shared. Right. So you can do that with, let's say, the brand new Mario Kart and different stuff like that and play games that way on Nintendo. Ty said, I've been keeping that on the low, but I got that and was happy. Yep, man, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. But I would say probably look into going at the employer with the potential suit though. I'll tell you that. Tippy said once you buy it, you have to still wait till they want to download it for you. Is that right? No. Like, okay, let's say if you go to the store, Tippy, let's say like you got your Switch 2, and then you bought like Legend of Zelda or Mario Kart while you were at the store. You'll have the code directly for the game as soon as you got internet access or however it basically works. You insert the code or whatever, and then it'll download the game and you got it. Now, if you're talking about like pre-orders, then that's different. You got to wait until that date. Wait, which one? What you say right there? You said my. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, man, that's crazy. He said you did it, but the judge threw it out. That's crazy work. You said stuff happens for a reason. Yeah. It was probably just time to be up out of that job and just go for something else. Sham said the digital download you get right away unless it's a pre-order. Yeah. You also said I wanted to get a Switch 2, but I don't know if I'll pay that price for it. Yeah, that's looking a little bit too much. Shout out to these tariffs. Like 400 to 500 is a little bit like 400. If you got like a bundle, that's a little bit different because you know where the money is. But if you're paying like 400 to 500 and it's just for the Switch 2 itself, nah, that's ridiculous. Let me see. Okay. You said I get it now. I was confused. You said I probably won't get the Switch. You say you're supposed to be getting a PS5 or a PS5 Pro. Ty said now I'm a splurge after I get all my money. You heard the tutorial cost $10. Yeah, that was for if people wanted to go into like the little mini tutorial that they had directly up there. But again, it's by choice if you want, to actually do that. Usually most people just experiment with the system, press buttons and see what it is, read the manuals and all that stuff. That's what I did. RY says shout out to the 45 and 47 and the raisins and his potato salad with the tariffs. We said I do want a great gaming laptop, PS5, and the Xbox Unlimited one. Ty said this is why I stay on PC. No, I get that. Like I said, I just like having everything because it was something that I never got a chance to, have, when I was younger. So, that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the live stream. I was just, going through the comments and talking and reading what I say. So I'm gonna buy the game and just emulate them. Okay, I got you. But yeah, shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to anybody that was directly here during the live stream that sent any donations that might have, subscribed or anything like that. Again, we are on our way to 40K directly on. I was about to say this console on this channel, so we are almost there. Shem said the crappy part is the increase is 35%, but they push the price like $200 higher. Rich people are straight thieves. That's facts. Ty said, to be honest, same, but the price ain't it for my situation right now. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I'll catch y'all on the next live stream, and y'all probably will catch me doing a random, video game stream at some point. So yeah, we'll be out here. But anyways, love you guys, appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next live stream. Wait, Tippy said, how much are they charging for GTA? Probably like 100. Y'all still see me on there because I'll be streaming it. You'll probably still see me on there. So yeah, it'll probably be like $100 or somewhere close to that for a normal version, but we gotta wait and see up until like around fall. It could have been out during this time, but they opted to push it back. So we get it a little bit later. But yeah, we'll see. And talk to you guys later. Peace out.